play those comms yet, but he was the one who called for the Kled pick.
This is going to be everything. To me, I really feel like my main just viewing point is Caps. Like, I feel like you get a feel for Caps in the first couple minutes of the game.
Yep.
Against Hammerlife, you could see something was off. But I think when you can see he's like really on against T1 in the first game, that's when I think the belief comes in. Caps, how is he going to do in the first game in the first 10 minutes?
Where does the belief come in for you?
The belief comes from the fact that we're going to 3-0.
Bro, this guy.
I don't need belief. I know we're going to win 3-0.
No need belief.
I know we got a 3-0.
I think the only people who need belief here are going to be the NA fans. If they're even up, it's the middle of the night for you guys. I think you're not even going to be watching this. You're going to wake up. It's going to be over. EU, it is your time to shine. It's the best of 5 to settle it all here. Get your memes ready. Get your t-shirts ready. Get whatever social media is going to be an absolute fire here at the end of today, because it is one best of 5 to prove it all. One best of 5 for either region to gain bragging rights until the end of time. The biggest ego battle in the West. It's go big or swim home here as well. It is time for the lower bracket semifinals with LYON Gaming versus G2 Esports. Let's hit it!
이제 단 4팀만이 남았습니다. 경쟁에서도 인생에서도 가장 밑바닥까지 가봐야 비로소 자신을 알게 됩니다.
It's been a bumpy road to get to this point. I wasn't able to find a competitive team where we can compete internationally. It's very difficult to go through those stretches of time. You don't see the light at the end of the tunnel.
이제 새로운 팀과 함께 도클라는 모두가 불가능하다고 여겼던 일을 해냈습니다.
For the first time in 4 years, North America makes top 4 internationally.
When you dedicate so much of your life to just a single aspect of it, you want to do well in it and you want to be considered best in the world, this is what you play for.
He needs one more hit. Go Club splashes in to get it.
도클라에게는 더 높은 곳으로 더 나아갈 기회가 남아 있습니다. 하지만 그 앞을 가로막은 건 그의 오랜 친구입니다.
I think that Dokla has cut up many haters, just the same way that I did. I have nothing but respect for him.
I really enjoy every time I come internationally to see Broken Blade. We were teammates at one point on TSM way back in 2020. I'm really proud of how far he's come.
For me, Dokla is an opponent that I will try my hardest against because that's the only thing he deserves.
한때 같은 팀이었던 두 선수, 이번 MSI에서 각자 역사를 써 내려가고 있습니다.
G2 had a really good year so far. They're going to be a really tough opponent.
When we're in the game, it feels like family, you know? We move together. There's no one left behind. So I have full trust in my teammates when they want to take a fight, that we're going to win the fight.
G2 after 7 years managed to double T1.
협곡 밖에서는 친구지만 협곡 안에서는 적입니다. 오직 한 선수만이 최후의 세 팀의 일원이 될 수 있습니다.
When we meet, I hope we both play on our best versions and figure out who's the best top laner in the West.
Stevie, let's have a good match, man. But I have to win.
모든 준비는 끝났습니다. EU 대 NA, call your shot.
Welcome everyone to the caster desk for this EU vs NA clash. G2 taking to the stage, LYON not far behind them. I'm Dracos, joined by Kobe and Jat for what will no doubt be the greatest and most anxiety-inducing best of 5 in the history of the sport.
Every North America versus Europe match that we ever get, Dracos, at the time, is the most important matchup ever!
I I don't want to discredit the finals, but this is our finals.
True.
And though someone makes it to the finals, this is our finals.
It's so rare that we get the #1 seed from the LCS and the LEC with the chance to eliminate each other. Last year, yes, FlyQuest did beat G2. That was the #2 seed, so we're being a little technical here. But the last time this has happened was 2019. Time before that was 2013. This is only the 3rd time in history the #1 seed of each region has played an elimination series against each other.
It's so rare, but it also reminds us why so often we have to resort to the little technicalities when it comes to talking about this rivalry. Who beat who in a best of one here or a best of one there. But for the first time in a very long time, this is the definitive series. You heard it from Cage, you heard it from just about everyone. Do or die. This is the series.
No excuses. What came before ceases to have relevance. So I see how you're already looking past KC losing to TL 3-0. I understand why you want to do that.
Second seeds, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
He's like, this is the one that matters because we lost the one earlier in the tournament already. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, fair. But you haven't played T1. Like, we can start slinging mud.
No.
What's your record against T1? Should we check? Do we want to look into that?
You know, honestly, I'm very nervous about this. So I'm hoping that we have a good, clean game out there on the Rift.
This is actually anxiety-inducing. So what I'm going to do is just talk about how great G2 is. Because Dracos, they are exceptional. I mean, Breeby actually said they're like an Eastern team, and I tend to agree. I feel like if this LYON team can take down a top Eastern team, a #2 team in the world, in fact, they will deserve all the credit.
True. But
it's a long shot.
Okay, but you're not going to rug pull me and say the Eastern team is top esports when you're talking about G2, right?
Why are we even talking about the East? G2 are the greatest Western team of all time in League of Legends.
Undeniable.
They're literally the best.
Guys, this is some it all starts with success voodoo.
Okay.
You need to take it down a notch. LYON are also a good team. Let's not count the
Tell me more.
The chickens before they hatch.
Tell me why LYON is good.
It's going to be a banger. Saint very good mechanically, as is Berserker. Inspired, look, took down Skewmont well at MSI last year. Worlds we kind of gloss over, given that FlyQuest was falling apart, but that's a different story for a different time. As we get into picks and bans, big eyes are naturally going to be shifting towards the top side of the map because Broken Blade and his counter picks were the center of the story around G2 upsetting T1 in that series.
And their draft plan in the T1 series, I think, was exceptional and was also consistent. They kept the same 3 bans in all 4 games of that series. It was Jace, Vi, and Orianna. They keep the Jace ban for Dokla, who's good at Jace, but I will be curious to see how that stays consistent throughout the match.
Are they going to leave Orianna up with just banning the Fury and Nocturne off the table? I mean, they're hesitating quite a while on this last ban. And Orianna has been devastating at the tournament. Still very early on in the series.
I ljudi moji, evo nas konačno na G2 vs LYON meču. Pobednik ide pravo na Hanvu koja je izgubila DLG, čeka pobednika u velikom finalu. G2 na... A zašto nisu Orianna uzeli? Kad smo kod toga...
They're putting the pressure back on LYON now. Now they're like, okay, if you want to pick the Orianna, we have one of the champions that is best at punishing low mobility carries. Or Jarvan, perfect Cataclysm options there. And if you don't pick it, as you said, very good synergy with the champion as well. So nice little move here from G2 to get a pivot point with the Jarvan.
And now kind of avoiding the issue by just saying, hey, we're going to slam Ezreal and perhaps a jungler as well. Let the mid pick go later and later, prioritizing mobility to get around the Jarvan rather than worrying about securing a very contested mid lane champ.
And we'll see how traditional the bot lane picks stay in this series. I know this has been a very mage-heavy MSI meta, but Hans Sama, not a great mage player historically. Berserker has looked good on Ziggs, but otherwise great on AD carries. And LYON stays very standard here. The Ezreal good into Jarvan, the Zenith standard counter matchup, and the Orianna game of chicken continues.
Yeah, let's see. Is Saint thinking, oh, I'm going to play Ahri or Yone or something else into it? With a Kali ban, like that's the go-to one where you put lots of pressure onto the Orianna, but there are other possible options for him in his pool, and Inspired with the Zen is going to look for the early scraps. So the early Anivia pick here, okay. It's still flexible.
Doesn't tell you anything.
Caps is very good at it. They could put it top. They could still put it bottom, even though we haven't done
LYON
in a while. And so now we're looking at top for sure.
Testi ljudi moji još jednom. Jutro.
So it could still technically be support Anivia if they really want to get spicy, but it's probably Anivia top and Orianna mid.
LYON je uzeo Xina i Eza i ostavili su Oriannu.
No Anivia support?
Still the thing I care about more is how are they going to punish this Orianna that they have left up and let paired with a Jarvan here.
Yeah.
So, number one, they're going to pick up the Bard here before...
Okay.
I don't know. The Bard would be quite good at trying to get through Orianna Flash and put kill pressure on her, but they want the strong poke lane here with the Karma Ezreal.
And really what LYON are saying is, hey, we're going to set up our 2v2 so well, we can ban away anything else that can stop us. And the cost is, you now have this Orianna that's going to be tough to contend with in terms of composition, and some of the options that Dokla might have into this Anivia, which is expected to go top, may get whittled away by G2, making his job that much harder.
And they're kind of daring G2 to play.
Najgori slučaj Nivea možda bude support, ali mislim da...
Anivia Orianna is already a lot of magic damage. They have to play an AD bot lane. Back when we were in the kind of 2v2 range support.
Mislim da mi se jako ne sviđa šta radi LYON. Mada opet kažem, mislim, super je to. Ali ja nikad ne bi ostavio Oriannu ovako. U 3 života ne bi ostavio Oriannu. Jer fora je što je Caps imao bolestan turnir, za sad i ti mu daješ najbolje heroje u igrici.
So much AP,
they just can't
so
do it.
there's
It doesn't
0% chance that it happens. Plus, Hansama has also not, invested very heavily in those types of champions. So I do like the Bard ban and trying to take away from possible Bard Caitlyn combination.
Yeah.
Limiting the potential to have a champion like Bard who can kind of match some of Karma's early levels, but also can just get really active on the map. A comfortable pick for Lebrov too. Do G2 want to match a range support option? Are they willing to concede the bot lane 2v2 just so that Lebrov can maybe play something with a bit more engage? Nautilus going to get taken away. Again, I think the most standard, most reliable engage support. Pretty much, it feels like forever. Maybe dropped out of the meta once or twice, but that's the priority. G2 now get one final ban here to maybe limit what Dokla can bring out up against Broken Blood. They already took the Gnar away, which was one of his best individual performers in their previous series.
Yeah, and a lot of the top laners, have been so frustrated with Anivia top because they're like, well, there's not really something where you're going to pick and you're going to win. So you pick and you have these other options like the Gnar and like the Cassante where you're still going to be useful to your team. And not lose too much is kind of the goal there. So let's see what LYON decide to reveal first here. I mean, I'm still on the edge of my seat for this answer into the Orianna from Saint. Again, he has all these options for looking for pressure. They had the Xin early, so they want to see if they can add on one of these Saint specials. He is very good, Dracos. This is a very, very good champion for Saints. He has had some all-star plays with it, and it got buffed since he had some really big carry performances in the LCS with it.
Agreed, but the ego here is insane. Like, to give over Ori in game 1, say we don't care what you ban in phase 2. They end up not throwing any bans because G2 is so comfortable with the Orianna matchup. And he picks it with, like, not even incredible ults so far. And they'll probably go into Ash Seraphine, which will be good ults.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to depend a lot around how much pressure they can have mid. I mean, that's interesting because I know Berserker and Alice are very comfortable in the Ezreal Karma matchup into Ash Seraphine specifically. And they've been able to get the push, land all their poke, and try and get that advantage early on over the Ash Seraphine. But the G2 comp scales like an absolute freaking monster death ball. This is a crazy death ball team. And it's going to depend a lot on can LYON get their pressure points on these lanes, mid and bottom specifically. I want to see how Inspired controls the jungle to be able to affect the mid and the bottom lane. Because if not, I am very, very scared of the G2 ball comp.
My skepticism is high at the
Mnogo više mi sviđa komp G2-a. Najiskrenije. Imaju bolji skill, imaju više teamfight toolova. Nemaju nešto physical damage-a. Ma dobro, Ash u stvari fine, Ash i Arvan. LYON ima bolji early. To je to.
Did set up to punish some of these ultis from G2. There are some decent options for Saint, but the early stages are going to be tough. If you get ahead with this LYON comp, you can no doubt take over the map. But you highlighted it so well, Kobe. If we go late, if G2 get to scale, if you have to fight into them, God forbid, it feels like an impossible task.
And the early jungle passes around mid lane can affect it so heavily, because even if you don't kill the Sylas, if you pass through and you chunk him or you get a summoner spell, Sylas has to lane by trading his health at all times, and so it makes it very difficult then to continue to keep your CS up and continue to be able to lane. So we'll see if there are early jungle presences near the bottom triangle of the map. And if there are early jungle focus on the bottom half, that leaves Anivia alone versus Renegade, chat.
I mean, It's not great, Kobe.
We'll see.
My anxiety is high, but my hope is also medium. Dracos, how are you feeling?
My anxiety is also incredibly high, and my hope is also medium. I predicted 5-0 in anticipation of any bugs or potential remakes, but at the same time, you know, there was one day, it was HLE versus BLG, or HLE versus G2, it looked bad. There's one day that was really good, but those were both just single days. There's not an overall consistent trend of dominance, and I wish there was.
First damage?
To secure comfort. But I'm going to take this for now. First blood, first little bit of trade. Technically not first blood, just first little hit.
First damage.
First damage. First damage and bot traded back. It's an even game.
And that was a big chunk out of Douglas' health bar. I mean, honestly, the full electrocute trade from Broken Blade, really nicely done from him in the brush. So already getting, you know, a health advantage here over Renegade. And Renegade wants to try and build up some fury off of that wave too to be able to operate, but we'll see how they go, because bottom lane is supposed to be our pushing lane, and it depends a lot on do you land your skill shots against the Ashe and Seraphine.
And currently both junglers are pathing top to bottom.
Čak mislim da je za Silasa jako loš meč. Gledam i nema nešto preterano.
Of chunk damage. Dokla is going to be in pain for a lot of this lane phase. You almost need to find a window to gank to make that lane better. Otherwise, Dokla's going to have a really tough time.
Yeah, the thing is, I think you have to tell him, Dokla, you're going to have a tough time.
I mean, is he already dead?
He's getting walked down now. Went in for a bit of extra healing off the Cold Meek. Slice and Dice already used, but Broken Blade, long cooldowns, but a lot of auto attacks for free when the Renekton is forced to back away.
Because at least for me, the vision to win the game for Lion is around the mid lane and the bottom lane. And so sometimes you just have to tell Dokla, hey, it's going to be a tough time. But we'll see. We'll see if they actually invest, because it's a tough time already.
Level 3 does make things a bit better, but obviously there's a reason we're so excited about this matchup, and it is not only natural regional rivalries over the year.
We're going back.
But the constant back and forth, the absolute destruction of hope for one region or another. We're always vying to take down the LCK or LPL. In pursuit of that, we're usually knocking each other out of tournaments.
Why are we only including the EU wins?
These are painful years. The early years were very bad for us.
Hey, we found one.
We found one, yeah.
We found one.
The EU early years were bad, chat. There's not good tape from the early years, my guy. I'm sorry
to say. It has been trending upwards. Another one. Look at this.
Lepo pogodio Červel, opet gubi tradove.
On Independence Day, the graphics are devious. That is...
Dude, we even skipped a lot of the number 2 seed stuff that was happening, or even the Worlds playing, but there were so many giant moments back then. I mean, even the first one, Hans Sama on that Misfits team were considered such underdogs against that 2017 TSM team. And that's when TSM decided they had to go all in on Sven and Mithy, and I mean, it changed the outlook of all esports history, actually, the beginning of these rivalries, so...
The course of our lives!
Lepo Zerker gađa.
It goes even further back, like my first NAEU memory.
Ali za G2 samo ne trebaju da gube rano. Koliko god mogu da rano early game ode even, oni su fajni. Ja ne znam zašto ljudi konstantno pikaju Renegtonu, Niviju. Bibi je igrao ovaj matchup jako često. Kao ovo je jedan od matchupa koji je najčešće igrao. Mislim da Renegton ne može toliko da paniša Niviju.
Thought he had the angle just to finish him off, but a nice response comes out from Saint, a bit of an overestimation of his individual damage.
Yeah, I mean, big mind game there, right? Because Human could have EQ'd and flash followed, but he was trying to not commit to the turret completely. Saint able to get his life out of there. I mean, Saint had actually died to an early gank in multiple games last series, so I think really fortunate he's able to survive that one.
And that was one of the early steps that we brought up from Champion Select. Can you get an early gank pass through mid to take away some cooldowns from Silas? And they do trade their flash. It is worth for jungler to trade their flash with the Silas mid, because now Silas is going to have to call for jungle support to get vision around his lane. Playing into the Orianna without vision around you would be very, very difficult, and so I do like that Isles on his first reset there for the Karma went immediately get the control ward and get the vision through River.
An opportunity now for the next few minutes to maybe capitalize on that missing summoner spell in the mid lane, especially as Caps gets closer to level 6. Skewmon as well as Inspired, both really just ticking over to level 5, so it's going to be a bit more time before we get those jungler ultis online and available. Similar story for top, though, where Dokla has done pretty well for himself. Broken Blade trying to set up a bit of a freeze here, but once you get past those first 3-4 levels, you're not winning the lane, but at least you can step up, get some CS, and threaten a little bit. We're getting stunned there, and the electrocute means that level 6, the dominance, is going to do some work. Getting it ahead of schedule, ahead of Broken Blade is very big, but not enough to immediately shift the lane.
The second win in the Doran's Shield have done massive work for Dokla up there, and I'd say Saint spent a lot of his health and his flash to stay...
Dobro da, za većinu nećeš znati ako ne pratiš LCS. To jeste.
But it's a great timing because Saint had already teleported back to have the initial mid push, and the bot lane, because they prioritize this Ezreal Karma so much, that's exceptional, Kobe, to be able to get this first Drake.
Yeah, our bottom triangle is going pretty well. We do have to still be cautious around this flash timer from Saint. That is an area to punish. And Skumon is making another visit from his side where he has the control ward. But honestly, with Scuttle Crab spawning on that top side too, I think he maybe does a little wrap around here. Now they're going to test Dokla. Looks like he actually cancels it and they're going to secure the
Čini se kao da je turbo spora partija i kao ništa se ne događa, ali ovo je u stvari huge za G2. Mislim, mi želimo da se ovaj game ne događa ništa. Nama je ovo super. Pojačamo malkice.
This is a pace of game that LYON is very comfortable with. I'd say when they were at their best in the LCS, they had the types of games where they just make sure their farm stays up, they keep the goal close. There'd actually be a bunch of games, even against the mid-tier competition, where they would give over early Drakes just to keep the gold even, because by far and away the strength of this LYON team is their late-game team fighting. So they're probably quite happy with how these first 6 minutes have gone.
Dominus burn top lane, Ruthless Predator to keep the stun going, Broken Blade, the ulti, finds the slow, trying to keep Dokla in that trade, but a very positive trade from Dokla as we see a potential 2v2 breaking out in the bottom lane. So a lot of posturing, a lot of cooldowns traded for lane priority, but nobody has died yet. It was, importantly, the fastest first Drake of MSI 26 so far, so...
Very important, really good, I like that stat.
Nice stat, appreciate it. We had Caps on the desk after his T1.
Silas ima kill na botu. Ko čiji god ulti da ukrade, to mu je hard CC.
The opposite of what we're seeing here.
Nice angle to connect on LeBron. Hansom's going to need to body block a bit here, but Saint's already on
the
sidestep on the Hibskond of Duct. Flash out from LeBron. Arrow body
block
by both sides somehow walking away.
Okay, so it is cleanse and heal for flash and heal off of Lebrov, and with the roam timer there from Saint used to get the extra summoner spell. See about that that dragon, because the summoners for Lebrov, at least the flash, won't be up for that big team fight. And we have seen Seraphine ult flashes have been crazy in turning some of these dragon fights. So maybe LYON will get to keep their dragon stacking going.
And we do see the Grub's about to spawn, already reset, potentially a look towards the top side of the map. Berserker is still going to go bot, but Isles is at least posturing up there. And crucially, Isles level 6, not big for Karma, but what is important is that Lebrov is not level 6. We'll make it that much harder if they want to try and contest.
And Lebrov, even without his flash, feels confident to go up to the Raptor Pit to get that, ward. And they're pinging. They're tracking because of the camps that they saw down already. That Inspired is on the bottom side of the map, so they feel confident. He's re-clearing, and they can get the setup for themselves onto Grubs. So I think that is G2's. They're going to secure that one for sure.
Yeah, giving it away, and Inspired's going to try and take a little bit of pressure on the bottom side here. So using this timer to maybe try and cut Lebrov off, or at the very least, clear this vision.
On's trying to backstep.
Barijera od Hansa. Sad Labrov hoće desno da pomogne, pametno igraju jako. I onda full focus, da, lepo su odigrali ovo, lep dive. Odradili su Labrova na Majmunu na rotaciju da nije mogo da pomogne.
You go for Grubs, we go for cross map play. Now Dokla's under attack though. He should know his weak side.
Wall coming in behind. No way to escape, no slice and dice, but still chasing down Broken Blade. Broken Blade has to be careful here. Dokla hoping he can flash out to safety, gets him a little bit closer, but Broken Blade takes him down.
Good cross map by Skumon. You could see Dokla couldn't quite get the wave all the way in, and it was really good timing for Skumon to trap Dokla before he could get back to his turret.
Yeah, Dokla on the weak side up there. When LYON had made all these calculations and these calls, hey, they're doing Grubs, so let's go dive bottom side. Let's punish there, and they successfully pull off the play. But Dokla at the same time wanted to egg Broken Blade, and so he ends up trading flashes there, does not get the egg because Skumon had extra stuff to do it, just taking Grubs up there.
There's got to be an element to baiting there for Broken Blade, right? Dokla's been in this difficult lane this entire time. He finally sees a window to get a really good trade and maybe get a bit of an upper hand in the lane, and it ends up backfiring.
And honestly, since we are coming out of such good series from both these top laners, look at how big Dokes was in the previous series and how big Broken Blade was, especially with the Kled game, but truly the entire series. The top lane matchup here they are coming off of such good series for both of them.
I mean, that Kled game was just legendary. He had 15 kills against
actual
T1.
legacy game.
It's the most kills a top laner's ever had in the game at MSI. It ties the international record for kills in a game for a top laner. There's one of the best top lane games someone has ever had, and he could have had 16 kills, but he decided to kill the Nexus instead. Like, how insane
Which I
is
think
that?
you take it. He could be in sole possession of that record, but instead, happy to
Might
take
be a
down
big Drake
T1.
fight here.
The first time is Caps is setting up. Currently just set to be a 50-50, but LYON are stepping forward, threatening for more. W flash him inspired a bit awkward. Finds the initial knock-up onto Skewmon, but has zoned him enough away that they can get the uncontested smite. Shockwave onto only Isles. It's a bit of an awkward start for G2. Saint looking to find some impact with this arrow. Good side step from Caps. Uses the movement speed from the
Izgubili su Drakea.
But as much as we wanted a bloodbath, as much as that's what we heard happened in scrims, there's not a lot of blood or bathing happening on the Rift right now. Top lane at least giving us a little bit of action here as the Dominus is forced out.
Yeah, very necessary ult right there from Dokla to get the extra health to survive the electrocute proc from Broken Blade. On bottom side too, you know, Isles soaks up that the shockwave from Caps. He does not flinch, he does not flash out of it. He's like, yeah, I'm fine with just the heal.
I Dokla baš ne može da igra u Aniviju.
The shockwave is used, can go in and they push their way right back out.
Ali baš sport game. Baš sport game.
Everything is still going according to plan. You know, they're trying to play off the bottom triangle, as we said, keep those dragons stacking, play towards their soul.
But I think the good news for LYON is oftentimes when you see topside objectives like the Grubs traded for Dragons, usually the topside objectives also come with a gold lead. But Berserker, 20 CS up over Hans, single-handedly ensuring that they not only have started to stack the Drakes on a Hextech Soul nonetheless, but they've also got this gold lead, which, while small, is significant because it's the difference of having this Trinity Force Ezreal, a very expensive first spike in the next fight, and not having it.
I mean, we look at the gold, not only does it line up with who we think the top performers on LYON are, it also lines up with what should be happening. Like, these are tough solo lane matchups that Dokla and Saint are playing.
And look at the map right now. So they've got the extra teleport for LYON, so they're keeping the split push on bottom side while G2 are overloading top. And LYON have the choice. All right, are we just going to trade and keep Saint on bottom side? It looks like that's the call, and G2 will make the push for the first turret bonus.
So here's the question. We know that LYON likes generally slower games, but I also don't feel like this G2 composition loves to play fast. Like the Orianna, Jarvan, Anivia, and the Death Ball that we talked about in draft, they should also be comfortable in a slow pace of game.
And I think LYON really prefer, if Inspired's like, you know what, our approach to this fight has, you know, like a 5% chance lower success rate than like a normal fight.
Take the next fight.
Let's not do it. Yeah, it's like, you know what, let's just keep on.
Gde smo bestali? Inače, šta se događa? LYON je jači u earlyu, ali neće da overforsira fightove jer nisu glupi. G2 bolje skela i neće da forsira fightove jer zamislite nisu glupi. Jedini način na koji LYON dobije ovaj game sad, pošto im G2 ne da fightove, je sol. Znači sol objective snowball, jer ako ne možete forsirati fightove, možete forsirati objektive. Tako da, za sada, prva dva Drakea dobra su za obe ekipe. U smislu, G2 je fajn da ne uzme ni jednog zmaja samo dok ne agrifaju previše, LYON je fajn da uzme dva Drakea, čak i da nemaju lead. Treći Drake je već pitanje, četvrti će biti krucijalan. Sol je mnogo jak, ako LYON uzme Sol, bit će im lakše da uzmu Barona pa posle i Eldera. I to će biti Elder pre 30 minuta, a tad je komp LYONa i dalje jak. Tako da kažem, jako, pod navodnicima, dosadan game, jako spor game, ali nije random spor. Spor je zato što obe ekipe ne žele da se biju. To jest, LYON ne može da nađe ugao, a G2 ne žele se biju.
It can be devastating. Saint here, if he steals away one of those big CC ults, but...
So on a Berserker, Skewmon, waiting in the side brush, hoping to just fight for the Scuttle Crab. 20 seconds again till the Herald spawns. LYON sizing up their options. The battle for mid-prio pretty even so far. Now, Caps has been sent bottom lane to respond to that wave pressure, but still has TP, so can join the fight if needed.
Very respectful from both teams, just trying to stack up these small advantages as Skewmon is on the way. Dokla has flash and R.
Wall is there, only gonna get
nice
the slice. He's trying to have the dice, now has to turn back with the Dominance, hoping to find Broken Blade. Immediate TP in, TP response coming in from G2, but Dokla just going to back away. We're set up for a 5v5 on the top side of the map. It's only 1-1, 15 minutes in. Will we finally see a fight as G2 are a bit split? Lion have all 5 members together. Caps flash away from Inspired. Inspired locked up, but it's Broken Blade isolated. Forced to flash as well. Ulti again from LeBron. Only gonna hit
Inspired ne može da ubije Bibija. Sad će da umre za to. Nemaju damage-a.
He's just using G2's ultis better.
Saint goes in huge at the end of that fight. You could see Inspired.
Nisam siguran zašto je G2 uopšte se pobio ovdje. Ovo su mogli samo dropaju.
And it's a 2-for-1.
And it's about the team getting together, connected in the river first. Look at the early move from the bottom lane. The Ezreal Karma moving up first. So Dokla creates the space. He flashes it on Broken Blade to create the time for the arrival of the TP. And then here Inspired runs towards his bottom lane. So the chase from Caps and the rest of them get pincered.
And we knew Berserker Niles were stronger, so they're the ones that actually joined this fight first. Hans Salman Lebrov can't really become involved in this fight. And then when Inspired flies over the wall, he's really
Human the Flash isto bio giga čudan. Generalno jako čudan fight G2.
Yeah, I swear, it's just such a big difference of impact from the bottom lanes with the Ash Arrow hitting nobody, Dracos going wide, and the Seraphine ult only connecting on one and immediately getting cleaned off. I mean, that was immediate reactions there from Lion, and from the rest of the team, they're going to pick up the Dragon after that. It is a huge, huge fight. The domino effect for the rest of the game.
Sole point now for Lion with a gold lead, a good start. And I gotta say, I love the smile I see out of Saint. The big story going into this year for Lion was how were Saint and Inspired gonna be as a duo. It's going better than anyone expected in their wildest dreams, and Saint is performing in this game.
Yeah, perfect territory for the fight for them too, with Silas having that mobility in the scrap over the wall here. Nice little move from him. And Isles had the quick reaction with the Mikhails to cleanse off from Dokla, the single hit on the Seraphine ult. So now we're already looking 5 minutes again in the future, chat. I feel like this game is the History Channel meme of dragons. Because the dragon soul, a Hextech soul on Ezreal Karma is insane.
Here we go. Ash Arrow, it connects.
Skewmon hit, initial knock up there, stuns DC fall. Finally, LeBron gets a good ult, but it doesn't matter because his jungler is already dead.
Getting massive value from the Silas here, Kobe.
Yeah, he steals another great ult. He uses it to headshot Skewmon. The EQ in line with the trajectory.
G2 se toliko dobro držao prvih 13-14 minuta kada se raspadaju.
This game could definitely change off of one great shockwave or one great wall, but it is a little bit difficult for G2 to force fights, in part because of Lion's itemization here. Look at this. 3 pairs of Merc Treads on the top side of the map, and then also a Mikhails from the Karma. So their triple bruisers are very difficult to hold in place, and then you have a Cleanse Ezreal and a Mikhails support, a very elusive team that Lion's become here.
Very true, and of course the difficulty now is with Lion having 3 Drakes already. They're very likely to get first set up on the 4th Drake, and you can see the picture-perfect team fight for G2, but you can see the bad version. It's the version we saw before, when they're not grouped up, when they can't get all of those ultis together, hitting multiple members, whereas Lion, they can play from multiple angles. They want those little flanks. They want to split G2 up. They already did it once, and if they do it one more time, it means soul for them.
Dracos, the next team fight.
Druga ekipa je NA, da. Jako interesantan turnir gdje su ostale 4 ekipe, jedna Kina, jedna Koreja, jedna Evropa, jedna NA. Što je dosta cool. Samo što je G2, kažem, izgrifovao. Samo strali da igraju safe. Pustiš Heralda, pustiš 3. Drakea. I onda se za 4. bijaš i nadaš se si naskilovo dovoljno. Ovako su se pobili 2 put pre objektiva i samo su pali behind za džabe. Zašto Kraken? Objašnjavao sam ovo ranije, naravno objasnit ću opet jer nikakav problem. Kraken ti daje da budeš jak odmah. Han sama ne može da priušti da bude jak kasnije, jer neće doživjeti kasnije kako ide ova partija. Tako da oni nemaju izbora nego da uzmu Kraken i da probaju da se biju za 2 minuta, inače će izgubiti game.
And really, Lion betting on themselves, giving up meta power picks like the Orianna to prioritize their 2v2 winning bot, and it has paid off. Again, the gold lead has shrank a bit. It was 1k earlier on, but we're coming into this next Drake. If anyone wants to go for early Baron, although I doubt that's going to happen. Next Drake, 2-item power spike for the Ezreal. You've heard us talk about this for like a gajillion years of League of Legends, but in this game, this is the strongest point for Berserker. He already had one good fight, so as you highlighted, if G2 can get that perfect wombo combo setup, they have an edge in the fight. If they get this vision, if they can fight for it. But if not, it's easy to see how it could all fall apart.
It absolutely is. G2 has the item power spikes right now, though. 2 full items for Broken Blade, Caps just completing his second item as well. So they are definitely stronger in terms of taking this vision, and LYON has to cede control, which is going to make it pretty difficult to get back. The strength of these Ashe Seraphine comps when they were really in vogue was if they're first to a spot, it's really hard to walk in through the Seraphine poke and the Ashe volleys.
Yep. Saint gonna collect the rest of the gold off the top side of the map, pushing while G2 get this setup that you're looking at on your screen right there around the dragon, and that is key. As we said, the setup for this fight, now that everybody is very, very, very close in power, pretty even. If Saint finishes second item after getting the rest of the gold from top, which I assume he's doing right now, then there we go. We're gonna be even Stevens basically going into this team fight. And it is a lot about the setup. So now though with the reset from G2, they just invested all these control wards.
Mislim u suštini Shadow Flame je. Ne, Vox je taman poslao, brate, nemoj se brineš ništa. Shadow Flame ti je samo dobar kad si Giga Head i hoćeš da snowballaš. Da, ali nema, LYON nema razloga da pusti Drakea. Mislim, mogu, ali sebi usporavaju Vinko, ne isplati im se. Baš im se ne isplati da dropaju Drakea.
So we opted for G2 priority on bot side to enter, but the crocodile in the brush here, I mean, he's so far away, I don't know if that matters.
Jer ako puste Drakea, sebe usporavaju za, kažem, 5 minuta.
Oh man, he's got a good flank though.
Battle Herald.
Oh, especially with Skewmon running away.
Where's it going to go? Saint ready to come over the wall. Dokla ready to go from behind. The Seraphine being pinged out already. He's just taking it for a lap, baby. Lap 2, perhaps, the engage? Nope, gonna crash into the wall. Wall set up, though. Crystallize a lot of ranks there already, but they spot Dokla on the side. They're trying to isolate him out of the fight instantaneously. Fighting back into the choke point on LYON's side of the river. Hard flash from Lebrov. Doesn't look like it's going to matter. Inspired living for far too long, but Skewmon manages to peel off Dokla. 4v4. Support down for top laner. Broken Blade stepping up. The flip going in favor of Skewmon. Saint burning down. Just barely able to escape the defiance from Isles. Keeping him standing. Berserker on the front lines, but Cap's the one to walk forward. The Orianna.
Nice. Big. Ovo je baš big za G2.
Absolutely clutch team fight by G2 and an even clutcher smite by Skewmon.
Uf, ovo je bilo close.
Over the Hextech soul there. They probably lose the fight on the back end, but they definitely win out there, Kobe.
G2 defend the critical moment of this game. What could be the turning point of the entire game right there. And LeBron with his dying breath, even with this huge flank from Renegade, he does get off his flash ulti, and it buys a tiny bit of time. Then they focus down the Renegade, they're able to turn the fight. Berserker really wanted to A Caps, and he eased forward in order to A Caps. That gives over an extra kill, Dracos, and your death ball comes.
Još jedan Drake fight je kritičan. Još jedan Drake fight je kritičan.
If he has Sterix in that fight, it looks very different. The additional tenacity, that massive shield. This game really the tightest margins, the littlest differences. The R flash here. Dokla does his best on the flank, but let's see how it plays out.
I can see Saint over on the left. He's a little late to enter this fight, but it's really about whether or not they get the one shot off. He lands a 3-man charm that buys crucial seconds. Then they're able to focus out Dokla, and Inspired, the one criticism has been his smites. Let's watch this one, Kobe.
W here, and yeah, and then it's just a fair smite.
Inspired samo nije smajtovo.
All the extra damage taking, and Berserker, as we said, he wanted to go for the egg, walked very aggressively towards Orianna's zone right there, and Caps punishes nicely.
Saint couldn't re-enter the fight. Inspired had no ultimate. Everyone had to retreat. Berserker needed to let that one go.
And of course, we did see the stolen Orianna ultimate immediately flashed away from it. Does mean that Hansama is also going to be down a flash in the next fight. We'll see how quickly these teams want to potentially contest a Baron, as it's 4 members on the top side from LYON.
And we had talked about Knight being undefeated on Orianna, Caps as well with a good record on Orianna.
Misliš generalno ili? Danas je tek počeo dan, tako da danas G2 malo grifa u američku ekipu, tako da to je. A generalno ceo MSI ima kako hoćeš. Što je Tivan izgubio, ima što je TSV izbacio Tess. Ajde BLG što je dobio Hanvu, to je već... Oni forsiraju Barona sa pikom na Anivi. Braća moja luda. A oni ne rade, završavaju.
Saint on the flank should have access to the Cataclysm if he wants it, but taking his time to pick an option. Does now grab it. Cap solo, zoning, Doke.
Da, od 10 od 10.
Very slow.
Yeah, they can't do
Kad streamujem Pavel danas? Pa vidjet ćemo. Ja se nadam što ranije. Znači, ne idem danas u teretanu, bio sam juče, danas mi je rest day, tako da... dobar ult. Oj. Dobro, Skewman je našao kill.
On the chase for Skewman. Perhaps LYON can turn back to the Baron. It's a scrappy exchange. Caps is still there. Hexgate keeping Skewman alive means there's no play left for LYON. They're forced to back away.
What an escape from Skewman. He flashes to break the tether, then goes all the way around to the Hexgate. Crazy fight. I need to shout out Caps though, because in the previous fight, he also zoned off the Silas in the flank, and this time around, he found Dokla for the flank. But here goes the big engage. Again, Seraphine ultimate over 2, but you got the immediate cleanse on the Berserker from Isles using the Mikhails. Skewman deletes him though, going in and assisting with the shockwave.
And punishing the cooldowns from the last fight. LYON doesn't win big, but you can see why they're such respected team fighters. No egg on Broken Blade at the start, no flash on Hansama when Saint goes in to finish it. But I also want to shout out Skewman's team fighting. He's been exceptional this game.
Certainly has, and making the nice escape there, using his flash to be able to get around back to the Hexgate. Have to say, giving over the Orianna to Caps, you know, a lot of people flamed giving over the Orianna to Knight, but Caps, the little things that he did, again, counting and marking those flankers. The last time you saw him spacing Saint, and Saint not being able to get good ult and being able to connect at the same time as Dokla's flank was critical, and then this time being able to start it out as well through the lane. Also very nice for where they started it.
But 30 seconds until the next Drake. 3 full items for Berserker.
Perks je coach.
Massive power spike here. But G2 have the
positional coach ili tako nešto, ja mislim.
Won't have cleanse in the fight either, so needs to play flawlessly. The Mikhails will be up shortly as well, giving it a little bit more leeway to get aggressive.
Ali da, realno gledano kapiram da će danas biti negde oko 6, verovatno. Pa jedno 6-7 sati, pa da vidjet ćemo kako bude išao dan. Inspired, pa ne znam da li je prepozno da treba sada ide, ali okej. NA caster i NA team, rad. A ne sme ni Caps da blokira taj chain. Ako pogledaš, Peđa, više su Digimoni nego Pokemoni. Pošto u Digimonima i u Palworldu imaš puške i bazuke, u Pokemonima nemaš, tako da...
to back up the additional movement speed, both sides blinking health bars.
Saint doesn't have teleport, but he does have Hexgates to try and return to the fight if they keep the scramble going. What a scramble there. They found the engage onto Inspired, but he says full set now, and all of LYON attack to defend. It's pretty even for the setup.
And how long was that fight? Inspired died at the start. He's back, taking the gates out again. Who can remember the summoner spells? Hans, no flash. Lebrov, no flash. Berserker, no summoners. Drake started again.
Seeker down for Saint as well. LYON are first to the play. Caps walking in, but he's exposing himself to vulnerability. Immediate control ward to spot out Isles, trying to keep that ready for flip it.
Dobro, flash ult je bio ne toliko dobar, ali igra Silasa, pa nije ni bitno, samo će premelje Serafin. Rip. Rip. Nije Skewman bio u poziciji da kontesta smite. I sad će na Barona i ovaj sam ne može da uradi ništa.
Stacking advantages throughout the game. Peaking in game 1, Kobe. This is insane. This team fighting from LYON.
Oh my goodness, it was so close too. G2, constant fights back and forth, pushing them. The previous one was so even with just the 2 kills each. But this one critically means everything with the soul, with the Baron, with the map control. G2, they need to go into damage control now. They have to defend very safely your jungle income and at your towers.
I mean, this was crazy how much time Saint bought. He gets the charm onto Hans, but crucially pushes everyone on the fight to the left so the Dokkan Inspired can push Skewman out of the pit and buy them time. And then the craziest thing is they still have the re-engage after it.
incredible stuff coming in from the side of LYON. Again, the recognition to back away, realizing Satan has bought you the space you need to secure that objective uncontested. Instantaneously turning on Skewmon to make sure there is no chance for a 50-50. Doesn't matter if Inspired's missed a few, if the enemy jungler cannot participate in trying to take that objective. A massive
Sad je problem, sad je baš problem.
And the damage numbers are only going up for the side of LYON now that they have the soul.
Yeah, the fact that Saint escaped back to the dragon afterwards too was crazy after that commitment in.
Yeah, because that was
Nije daš.
fight. Like Saint basically 1v2ing to kill Hansama, getting out of that initial fight with like 10% health so he could base and take the Hex Gates out. It's all connected. I mean, look at the game this guy's been having. Lanes into Caps's undefeated in 2026 Orianna, stays close enough, finds the skirmishes, is currently sitting 5-0-4 in this game one.
Really good understanding of his own strength, the power of the upgraded Merc Treads as well, buying him so much space. Remember, he didn't have Seekers in the previous fight. He didn't have the money, had to use it in the previous play, but now he does. Now he has the full Hourglass available to try to threaten G2, to try to split them up so they can't get that perfect Wombo combo that now, it used to be a little optional, now it is mandatory that these key ults connect on multiple members each and every single fight.
Yeah, G2 now, again, go into damage control. Try and farm safely, keep your income up, try and play off a grouped team fight, a front to back here, and make some use out of these key ultimates. If Saint is going to steal your Seraphine ult and then make the engage and make that much space before you're able to use your Ashe and your Seraphine and your Jarvan and your front line, then it completely defeats the purpose altogether.
Berserker just completes Endless Hunger as well, so 4 full items on this Ezreal. 313 CS, 10 CS per minute, 1,500 gold over Hansama, and the Hextech Soul Ezreal poke is just absurd. LYON, especially with the Karma and the 3 pairs of Merc Treads, I don't feel like they're going to go for a hard engage. They just need to bait and poke G2 and then take the fight if G2 brings it to them.
Exactly. It's the dream soul for this LYON composition. They rolled quite nicely on that one. And so they're going to do the 3-1-1 split push here. Just a slight variation and keep Saint on the bomb side with his teleport. Again, he's a level 16 Sylas with Azonia's huge playmaking potential even without his flash.
I mean, 1-3-1 or 3-1-1 is a little bit risky. A lot of times, if you're up against an Ashe, you'd want a more 4-1, but they're getting away with it for now. Saint able to get the solo gold and pretty much the entire turret. And now you can see
On će da dive za cool ovdje, da.
I like this.
I fore što ako Nivea na botu, njima je znatno teže da kliraju drugu stranu. No ne, ovo mislim, ovo je samo game, šta. Znali smo šta LYON hoće da radi, G2 samo ništa nije radio povodom toga.
Saint looking to find a way out. Healing there, extra 400. Caps forced to flash back. Saint, 2.5 seconds. Gets space for his team to get out in the other play. Wants to go in. Nice sidestep from Caps. Means 1,000 gold shutdown.
That is a huge shutdown for the hope of Europe. Caps Orianna does get paid for the loss of their inhibitor. And the only one they lost at that inhibitor was Lebrov Seraphine.
Yeah. That's a really good play by G2 to be able to have the 1-for-1. I actually credit most of
Jedini, da. I danas i sutra i prekustra jedini best of 5. Jesam dobro rekao, da? Ili... Pa da, petak, subota, nedelja, dobro sam rekao.
With the Anivia, they can likely push that wave out far enough to give them an opportunity to 5v5 at the Elder.
Skewmon and Caps as a duo, the synergy when delivering shockwaves have been incredible with it in key moments. Let's see if they can fight their way out of a Hextech Soul, because even with that Hextech Soul at the last inhibitor, you saw them trying to chase them down, not able to just finish off a few of those kills.
Some fairly important cooldowns burned as well. No cleanse on Berserker, no flash on Inspired. Although he does still sit on that GA. If Caps could somehow get to his death cap before that fight, it would be...
Ne može da igra. Ne može da igra još. Kažem, mislim, Han samo je polako pivotovo u taj jači late game build sa Hex Opticom, sa Mortal Reminderom, Speedijem, samo treba Infinity. Ali problem je što samo su previše behind. LYON s ovim kompom znali smo šta rade. Ili forsiraju fight, ili forsiraju objektive. Ja mislim da je G2 najviše zagrifovo na Herald fightu. Jer tu su krenuli da kontestuju fightove koji im nisu trebali. Mislim, okej, Elder Flip i dalje radi. ali opet kažem flip je, mislim ne moraju nikada da se biju. Ioj. Dobro. Dobro, ništa, to je bio game broj 1. Prešli za leđa, sorry, ultom, čovječ.
Saint has played incredibly. LYON is going to push it in for a game 1 win.
Caps' Oriana. We thought they might have doubted it, but he dismantled it. LYON better in the fights, better in the early game. G2 sent reeling in game 1.
Dobro, šta se radi? Mislim, i dalje se igra, sve je lagano, i dalje ima čist pikova na topu, dosta za BB-a. Malo ih ubiše, to jest malo nas ubiše prvi game, ali ajde. Ima još se igra, 10 minuta pauza. I vraćamo se s gameom broj 2.
No one would listen to me though. What can you say? Kobe was listening. He's pointing at me. Jeff is too.
Let the record show I doubted them the entire time, but I should not have because Saint Silas is absolutely cracked.
Look at this Silas. Dagda, I'm gonna have nightmares about this.
Yeah, it's like the Shy and now the Saint as well. Like, oh, that was an insane combo. This man played out of his mind this game.
Yeah. And Emily, right off the bat, you said Saint Silas is something to be feared here in this game. He popped off so much.
As soon as he locked it in draft, I was like, okay, first of all, it's just a good Silas angle. Second of all, he's 4-1 on this champion. He has it's his second most played all time in his career. He's so good on this pick.
And I think it speaks volumes to him that he's willing to lock it in against Caps Oriana as well. Caps undefeated this year, 7-0 on the Oriana. There was a risk by LYON to leave it open, but that man in the mid lane played it so well to shut it down.
Yeah, I would honestly say both the LYON soul laners deserve a lot of credit for kind of withstanding these matchups, these melee versus range matchups, not getting that far behind. I was really questioning this Renegade pick because, you know, it was a last pick. I think he was putting himself in a difficult matchup. BB got a really good level 1, and I was like, oh my god, this is about to get ugly. But he held him for such a long time, got BB out of mana, kept it in parity until he got ganked and killed. And I was kind of still wondering, like, is this even worth it if you're even? You know, we thought maybe they were going to gank it, but they didn't. But then in the team fights, Dokla's positioning was really, really good. He was always pressuring the carries. Inspired and Saint were there to follow up. And I feel like Berserker was really showcasing some of his skills. We've had a lot of questions about Isles on Pyke and Camille and this, but I have no questions about this man if he's going to be playing Enchanters. And he played a very clean game.
And honestly, that's what made the difference here. The fact that I was always, let's spot the Renekton, let's be careful about those LYON team fight setup. And Emily, you were the ones highlighting them when they played against Team Secret Wells. The fact that they play methodical, that they play super well around those objectives, and they do it once again in our HyperX Reflex replay.
Yeah, I mean, this is, they were so patient and constantly stacking Drakes, right? So they weren't seeding objectives this time, they were controlling them. And this was Saint with the stolen Seraphine ultimate, immediately getting onto Labrov. And I actually thought things were gonna get a little dicey here, but it's Dokla who really, really steps up and gets into the back line.
Yeah, I mean, Dokla positioning really well, and I have to say, Berserker popping off as far as the damage is concerned. And Isles, people always like to meme on Karma, all you're doing is shielding. This guy was positioning so far forward. He was always there with the Mikhails, always there threatening with the tethers if people step too far forward to set up for Berserker. And I was really, really impressed by their play. Labrov, credit to him in that last fight. The R flash, the stolen Seraphine ult, did catch Hans. And so he's get down, Mr. President. He actually blocks the abscond duck to save Hans. Otherwise, I think that fight is more one-sided. But LYON definitely going to be feeling good about this first game.
Dagda, give me hopes here. If you're G2, if you're backstage, what are you looking at? Because looking at this draft and the setup that they had, I thought they had easy buttons they could press. I felt the nerve in this game 1. But what are we looking at here?
Yeah, what are we looking at, buddy?
Don't give up on me now!
I don't. Look, to be honest, I've seen Broken Blade with the Anivia before. I think it's been a bit scrappy. We saw it against MKOI, where he kind of had a similar game. I think coming back into it, Saint moving away from the Silas, which is one of his best picks, I think we can still open up more. And if we can start to shift away from these enchanters in the bot lane, that's where I give the edge to Labrov. I think there was a little bit of first game nerves. I think we'll be able to bring it back from here.
You're not even saying anything. You're just gloating.
What do I have to say?
This is honestly Isaac's moment.
The boys, they proved it with actions speak louder than words.
One game.
And what was your prediction? 3-0. It's already wrong.
We don't talk about it. What matters is the destination, not the journey. Whatever. The Lion doesn't sleep tonight. That's all I know so far.
Destination is Berlin.
Here
we'll see
at
you there.
MSI. Yeah, potato,
Along with
potato.
G2.
They take game one. Well, let's see what happens next. I'm gonna find you.
Tired of the off-season blues once Worlds is over? Fear not, because League of Legends is coming to the very first Esports Nations Cup, where players split from their clubs and compete for national pride. Will China test every limit imaginable? Will South Korea turn every game into a macro masterclass? Will EU and NA actually play in the correct lanes? The final event of the year is not to be missed. Esports Nations Cup 2026. See you in Riyadh.
In esports, legendary moments demand speed, scale, and soul. Players and fans bring the heart. Technology brings it to life. Every frame, every stat, every decisive play. In partnership with League of Legends Esports, we're driving digital innovation that empowers the esports ecosystem to keep expanding. So players can focus on the game, and fans can focus on the moment.
Like this are where star players shine and new legends step up, where legacies are built and dreams are either realized or ripped apart.
He still doesn't die! You cannot step the faker and expect to live to talk about tomorrow! He blocked it well as the Arcane Storm doing so much work in Gen G! They are just going to ace them!
When I was a player, if I was to like make a misplay, maybe it's my mouse, maybe it's my armrest, something feels wrong. If you were at home, you wouldn't do that.
The Infinite Precision Armrest is part of the larger Circulab on Stage standard initiative, aimed to bring your home or training room settings to the tournament stage.
이제 저뿐만 아니라 다른 선수들도 세팅을 더 원활하게 할 것 같고
가장 편안할 때 더 강력한 플레이가 자연스럽게 나옵니다.
Red Bull gives you wings.
What's up, Paul?
I think I figured it out, Andre.
Figured what out?
A way to go back.
Back where?
It's not where. It's when. It's all right here. I mean, we just have to figure out when. When is it, you know? Let me ask you this, Andre. What is League to you? Is it season 1? Is it season 4? Could it have been season 2 when we started having with jungle pathing? Could it be when we had Heart of Gold? It was a shell. Why was it named Heart of Gold? It could be anything that we want.
I mean, I get it, Paul, but I really do think...
2 Shens in the game? Is it OG beta when there was 40 champions? Look at Lux, look at the way she used to look. It could be any of these things, Andre.
I mean, would kind of like to play Old Graves again.
Pretty good. What if we went back to that time? Could be any of those times. Be a lot of fun.
What would you call this thing if we did it, though?
Clash Fates.
No, we're done with that.
All right, okay. Old League.
Who's that even for?
Your favorite league. Okay, that was a little weird. Okay, I think I got it. League. Classic.
Okay. J4 not coming, I'm coming. J4 here. Can we focus the J4?
Look here, look here.
Okay, okay. I'm fighting J4. Hey, Renegade, come. J4 is out. Finish. Finish. Take.
Look, Oriana will get rooted.
Yeah. Go mid after.
I don't think we get it.
Calm down.
Mid
after.
Silas is crazy with it! Stacking advantages throughout the game. Peaking in game 1, Kobe. This is insane.
Welcome back to MSI 2026, as game 1 was well and truly insane, especially around the mid lane. And now we're going to see if LYON can replicate that success as we get ready for game 2 and head into Champion Select, powered by HyperX. Gentlemen, the nerves are out, but the fear is alive and well for the European fans, because that was an incredible game 1 from LYON.
Don't be a game 1 Andy Dracos. I've been there as well. You know, G2, they've already reverse swept at this very tournament, and they're not even that far into this series anyway, so I expect some alterations from G2, especially for bottom lane. It was a bit surprising to pick that Ashe Seraphine into the Ezreal Karma, and it certainly did not perform. I think EU fans will probably already at this tournament start to have some Seraphine trauma, whether it is Hans piloting it or whether it is Lebrov highlighting it. So I do expect them to take some more proactive approach to this draft.
And I'll say I'm just never been more happy to see Fearless. They can't pick it again. You know, we can move on. We can move past that portion of this best of 5.
I think there's a strong desire to see Lebrov on a playmaking champion. That last game really was a slow bleed through the bottom lane, and then Saint and Dokla found angles in team fights. So we'll see what direction they take here. As it appears, it's LYON with the first pick.
Boris, of course, a flex, nice to have into Broken Blade.
Evo nas nazad, taman na vreme. Da vidimo šta nas čeka i da li G2 može se vratiti. Tek drugi game, lagano, polako.
Yeah, and G2, like, they can hold their counter pick really long here. Broken Blade has a lot of specialty stuff like Yasuo and such. So we'll see where the flexibility ends up on that Varus and what sort of counter picks they end up going for. But we are going to get the Ziggs, the mage bottom lane now. Draco's hands on his head already.
Look, There's been a lot of times since I've seen Hans play a mage. You know, I remember the Vladimir in 2018. I'm very nervous about the Ziggs, especially against Berserker, who's had some all-star performances on this pick. That said, Ziggs, very powerful in the meta. On paper, if I turn the nameplate off, this is a fine first pick.
Ovo je najverovatnije Ziggs za Hansamu. Ono što će biti dosta interesantno je ako slučajno, nekim slučajem možda, Caps izvuče Tristanu na midu. Znači, ne sviđa mi se Ziggs na Hansu, osim ako Caps ne izvuče Tristanu ili nešto tog tipa.
So they might flex that Ziggs to the mid. It was originally a mid lane champion. It's not guaranteed that this is Hansama. I think LYON wouldn't be surprised by that either, as they're the team that flex picks like crazy. We know for sure that Varus is top or bot. We know it's a flex pick.
I will just say, saying after every single G2 pick that it might be a flex pick qualifies you to be an LEC caster. It's like the #1 thing that you have to hit every time they pick anything.
Is it the Nautilus jungle?
Nautilus mid, maybe. Shout out Doinby. Shout out whatever MSI it was that we all did that for a little while. But we send the debate here. We've already seen LYON of ours, which if it is the 2v2, is pretty powerful in the early lane, but the Lee Sin, a big playmaker for Inspired.
It's a big power pick this tournament, but it's also a pick that I'd say fans of both of these teams don't love seeing their jungler on. Inspired loves to be cool and calculated, and I feel like Lee Sin is a champ that just has to take 50-50 skirmishes and outplay you in order to get an advantage, and that's usually not Inspired's game. Skumon had a similar game on it as well, so we'll see what happens here as they also take the Cassio, which was the mage counter that other people have been taking into the Ziggs. So those are technically two flexible champions, but it's very unlikely we see an AD bot now, Cody.
Yeah, with 2 protection bans for the Cassio as well. So they can just ban away the Syndra and follow up Caps with extra protection here for the mid lane.
Debate now, getting those extra mid lane bans out. And I will say, Stats team was quick to correct me. I might be a doubter of the mages, but on Ziggs at least, Hansama is 3-0. Played it back in sometime in the early 2020s. It's not the 2018 Vladimir that I'm lamenting and looking at his stats page now about. So a little bit more comfort there. But with double AP, as you've highlighted, we are looking to see a little bit more physical damage in the top lane, setting us up for a potentially more volatile top lane 1v1.
All right, you get the Vayne out. That kind of opens it up for some other options of some blind picks as well. So definitely kind of hinting at the possibility of the bottom lane Varus getting a little stronger.
Yeah, they need to find good AD damage in top jungle. Broken Blade has a lot of quirky picks here because the Vayne would have been more of the obvious ones. The Jace would have been more of an obvious one. Those are obviously banned away. And we still know that Varus is a flex. Although seeing with what is available, I'm expecting that Varus to go bottom lane into the Ziggs. We'll just have to see how it plays out.
Getting some stressful hovers here that I think are entirely fake. The Poppy banned away, I do like to see that. Does make a lot of sense up against the Lee Sin and Leona. Really shuts down their ability to make anything happen.
Should be an
if they lock this in and this Nautilus is a flex,
no. It's an 80 jungle pick right here.
Surely.
Almost has to be.
Sure. It is. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Pantheon's a great pick. I mean, the Jarvan, the Xin are already gone. The Vi's banned out. The Lee Sin's there. It's just another one of the Sunder Sky junglers.
And it's not Camille, but it does give you a lot of the same immediate CC setup if Ziggs is in the proximity in the area, and it gives you another kind of semi-global long-range ability to maybe punish.
Nisam veliki ljubitelj ovoga. Cassio, Ziggs, Pantheon. Ovo je Kled ili Yasuo top, verovatno.
Lots of potential there for affecting side lanes very quickly, and you already have very good wave clear as well.
If this Nar's locked, I think Broken Blade's Yasuo is an inevitability. They're just okay with that matchup, it feels like, unless Broken Blade has something else cooked.
It does point towards that direction, and they were more worried about the Vayne, as we were talking about, so let's see what they're going to follow it up with. Some engage. They definitely do want some sort of playmaking here from Saint. He definitely performs very well on champions with mobility, with dashes. Arya is one of his favorites, but he's also quite good on the control mages. And Victor,
mislim, treba im neki hard physical carry. To je poenta.
Scale up to be a big powerhouse in the team fights.
And we have some flexibility here from the LYON team comp overall. Varus can be powerful in the late game. Victor that power, but still a lot of playmaking. Now, the Yasuo, if it is locked in, a strong lane matchup, and we've seen BB
mislim, pikali su ga. Bukvalno, Znači, ne verujem koliko mislim, da LYON loše drafta, a opet im prolazi dobro. Znači, oni su pikali Gnara, ostavili su Yasuoa, znaju da to radi za Bibija i bole ih uvo. Mislim, ako nas na ovaj način dobiju, onda stvarno ne znam šta da kažem. Onda su samo godinama ispred nas, izgleda i to je to, nemam pojma, ne znam.
Deceptively good opportunities for them to set up Broken Blade later into the game too. And this counter pick is a good counter pick for a reason. You get to run down the minion line basically onto the mini Gnar and try and force those plays. And you have a Pantheon jungle, Dracos. He level 6, he can ult in there. They can make that gank guaranteed happen. So Dokla has to play very safe on that Gnar. Luckily for Dokla, he's coming up a series. He had a huge Mega Gnar game. And we'll see if he can stand up to the counter pick that they must have been looking at and knowing is coming, especially seeing so much AP already on G2, just playing right into this Yasuo.
And he did in game 1, crucially. Now we head into game 2, see if he can weather the storm once again. Of course, Renegade wasn't a counter pick, or it was kind of the counter pick, but it was just supposed to survive. This time around, it's more of the hard counter, the Yasuo that comes out against the Gnar. But if Dokla can survive once more, doing something that Doran could not, it's an impressive feat and gives a ton of confidence for LYON in this series.
Yeah, you always honor your top laners that are going into an annoying range matchup. He didn't go that far down, and then he still had big impact in those team fights at those dragons, getting into the mix of it. So let's see.
Ne pričamo o tome, Maren se desi.
They have been rewarded previously here with the counter picks from Broken Blade.
Mislim, nema šta, sljedeći game će Bibi pikati Kleda, pobedio i izgubio, ovdje nema neke velike razlike.
Another quick point I have on Dokla is he's almost the opposite archetype of player that usually get prioritized. Like so many players that come in nowadays are just these like incredible laners who then struggle to side lane and team fight effectively. But Dokla, to his own admission, is a very average laner in most situations, but he knows how to win the game. He plays side lanes well, he recovers in game well, and he team fights great. So I think that's why LYON is okay saying, okay, we're going to blind pick you the Gnar. We know the Yasuo is coming. Even if you fall behind, we trust you.
Yeah, and so you see there, Inspired is splitting the map because of the counter pick. So this is their choice to deal with the Yasuo counter pick. BB has information though. You saw that the ward from G2 was placed after the LYON ward. So they saw it, plus they know that the other ward is there, and Broken Blade off that push, he is kind of hovering back. He kind of knows this is happening.
He's a nervous man. And look, we saw the head-to-head between Inspired and Caps, a ton of history domestically, a lot of best of ones, but in the best of fives, Inspired has the edge courtesy of that 3-0 that we saw at MSI last year. And now Isles getting things kicked off, extending the trade just a little bit. It's common for Berserker, so we know we will be seeing a bit more poke. Skewmon on the way in. Aegis assault for movement speed. Looking to lock up Berserker. Berserker no cleanse. Importantly, Isles trying to stop anything else from going down, but a flash isn't even going to save him. First blood for G2 Esports.
Beautiful gank for G2 for Skewmon with perfect information. They knew Inspired was up on the top side, counter jungling, so they had, wait a second,
Re-engage on Isles. TP back in, they're hoping to get a bit more.
That's a slow TP.
Empowered Spear is going to be there. That's a very slow TP, but now Inspired's hoping to find the double. Berserker on the way, and they'll at least get one. Flash out from Skewmon. Minefield to slow them down. If Skewmon gets out, it's still a good trade, but if he doesn't, they're in trouble. Hansama body blocking the Q, going in. Skewmon getting lower. The Aegis assault up in the nick of time, just barely makes it out.
That's so huge for G2 right there. Hansama still has his TP as well. Almost a disaster.
A vidi, svašta se čudno događa na MSI-u. Svašta se čudno događa na MSI-u, očigledno.
Hansama sent bot lane to catch the wave. Now it's Labrov wandering into mid, but Inspired's here first. 3v2 in the favor of LYON. Does have the flash, wants to hook to the wall to escape, but LYON are just going to respect it. Good read from Isles to be exactly where Labrov was, setting up Saint now to push out this wave, and an excellent sidestep on the hook.
Yeah, so nice. Okay, so Skewmon has a lot of options now, especially with Labrov still mid. I mean, it's only Isles giving Saint the confidence here to stay into mid.
Inspired waiting over the wall, starting to walk towards red, immediately turns his attention elsewhere, trying to cover his mid laner. Saint getting lower and lower. Caps has to be careful. Nice backstep. Not sure if he spotted Inspired, but manages to hold on. Forces the flash out from Isles to escape. G2 getting the better of LYON in that brief exchange.
Yeah, Inspired was finishing up the Raptors there, so he's in the area to save the play as well. And they get the flashes out though, so both supports with no flashes now definitely very vulnerable, but we have to look at Skumon and how he continues this game, because I do like that call. Go for the first blood on bottom side, really get them snowballing, and it was just after LeBron and Hansama had gotten a great trade. They landed the hook combination into Satchel Charge combo, into Explosive Bomb there from Hans, and that is definitely what they want to see.
And really accelerating the pace of this game. I mean, at the time of that mid gank, Skumon was at 12 CS, but he'd clearly impacted the map. He'd helped win the bot lane and didn't quite get Saint's flash, but still managed to draw them a lot of pressure there.
G2 doing what they can. Of course, both supports leaving so much means a lot of solo XP for Berserker and Hansama. One of the nice things about the lethality Varus is
Desi Rago, desi legendo štima.
almost as well as mages do. So normally we'd see a big discrepancy. Level 3 in Q for Hansama is a big damage spike. It's not a big damage spike for a lot of AD carries, but it is for the Varus, which helps keep this push battle.
Hansama, Ziggs, dobro.
Yeah, as we see it directly in the middle of the lane, and both supports hovering on their brush because they know the junglers could have a huge influence, but they've got vision.
Slow one. Inspired is here, but it's a tough start.
Q3 ready to go. He's in the Mega still, though. Inspired on the way up. Skumon, though, such a low health bar. Oh! And this means LYON are taking the fight. Level 6 for Broken Blade. Hoping to get something back. Stacking the Q3 up. Needs to lock up Dokla.
BB. Oh, yo, BB. Ok, malo je promašio Q ovde. Što nače da je hitovo sve Q-ove, mislim da je mogo 1 na 2, ali lepo odigrao svejedno. Fajn je realno, kill 1 za 1 kad te gankuju, super priča.
That is one hell of a wallop on the arrival of the teleport, just the remnants of the Mega Gnar coming in, and that surprised them a bit. Plus the timing of Inspired was right there at the arrival. So Dokla goes back as he's about to transform into Mega, and then look at the bar as it's ticking down, coming back from the fountain. He still barely has the Mega.
And look at the vision as well, like now Inspired's in vision as they're already stunned, so they're completely committed to the play. They managed to shut him down early, but credit to Broken Blade for turning this back into a 1-for-1.
Yeah, clean from Broken Blade. Gets the combination onto Inspired. He went for the level 6, focus on the minions, gets it, gets the... Wait a second.
We're not done. Another key play there. The wallop is there, though. Dokla didn't use ult in the previous fight. Broken Blade's getting dunked on! Once again, he has been broken!
Big
E pa ne valja. E pa ne valja. Još su pikali Gnara u Yasua, mislim, oni su trebali da budu, ne znam, relativno okej što toga tiče, ali očigledno ne baš.
And try and snowball this Gnar game. And for the second game in a row, it's the counter pick. It's supposed to be the strong lane for Broken Blade, and initially it looked all right, but it is so quickly falling apart. Look at that XP chart, pulling further and further ahead, almost a full level over Broken Blade in that top lane 1v1.
It is a bloodbath. North America versus Europe here, and they are throwing hands. Both junglers getting very active, and now you have Skumon level 6. Where is this Pantheon ult gonna go? Everybody still has flashes basically on LYON, save for their support, of course, and mid lane is the battlefield.
Hold that thought. I'm watching the replay. There's two fights happening at the same time. We can see the 1v1, but LeBron now with backup from his jungler wants to make this happen. Nice flashback coming from Saint. Excellent mechanics from Inspired. Gets LeBron low. Isles also on the way in, and now it's G2 on the retreat. TP coming in. Dokla on the side. All 5 of LYON have arrived to the play, and G2 forced to run back to their own jungle. Nowhere left to go. It's the Varus out of nowhere with the steel chair.
Yeah, even Berserker teleports mid and uses the
Brat mu je baca WWE reference, respekt. Igra Ireliju, pa jeste, ali mislim. Irelija trenutno baš i nije meta, može da igra ovde, samo nije optimalna Irelija. Sad Yasuo je bolji u Gnara svakako, samo ovu partiju to možda ne vidite toliko.
Starting and stopping that recall, we look back at this play. G2 overcommitting. We're not ready for the response.
I mean, the Victor ult into the Inspired kick just chunks them and buys enough time for the rest of LYON to arrive.
Yeah, I was looking for a good angle for the Caps ulti, but Inspired did the early kick, and so Caps never really got a good, angle for his ult early on, and then at this point, it's just way too late because they've already chased him down. And so with the Pantheon ultimate being used, that we were looking for, it is again going the way of LYON with the early press. as sure. Dragon, though, for G2, they're going to be able to claim it this time around.
Should be theirs, as Inspired had to buy items, go back through his jungle, and the lanes reset. So good job by G2 to still read the tempo of the game and know what they can take.
But it's LYON building that gold advantage, something we've seen them do before. Willing to sacrifice Drakes, willing to sacrifice a lot of objectives just to get the gold in their favor. Often amounts in a lot of these stronger team fights, and you can see G2 have the idea.
Ne znam, ali čudno mi je, zato sam mi rekao, ne možemo se opustimo protiv LYON-a. Jer iz nekog razloga G2, ono, igraće bolje u BLG i u T1 nego što će igrati u Amere. Mislim, što je baš van svake pameti, ali tako funkcioniše ekipa, ne znam. Da li mi veći hype da igraju u Kinu, u Koreju, ali... Mislim, meni je čudno svakako.
Dokla about to go mega. Isles in the area though. Inspired is also on the way. It's a disaster for G2. Everybody from LYON is once again right where they need to be.
Team play.
Oh, brate mili.
Mega Gnar, Dracos. Mega Gnar again. G2 decide to engage on it. Now LYON following the play.
Quick stun. Inspired and Skewmon take the same angle on the blast cone. Skewmon's still going to throw a spear on.
Ja se slažem, vidi. G2 je mogao da ima Busija i Inspireda u timu. I ja mislim bi to samo bio insane roster. Ja mislim bi to bio baš insane roster.
Early, Inspired now trying to get some of that experience back while pushing Skewmon out of the jungle to steal his red, and the map play has just been exceptional with the way they've been moving around.
G2, I will say I do like Zig scaling more than Lethality Varus.
Yeah.
Now after Lethality Varus has been nerfed so many times, we'll see if Hansama now getting his Blackfire Torch, you know, on his first item here. Can this Ziggs damage make one of those long follow-up plays?
Yeah, and Coinbase Gold Grind, you can see 700 more gold just from kills for Dokla with that 3-0-3 score already. 900 gold lead overall.
And sometimes comfort just
Veruješ ma to.
counterpicks again.
Yes, sir.
Fair.
Hopefully still have their head in this game. If not, they'll be thinking about that first play that went awry, the moment that that counter pick fell apart. They're still trying to get active on the map, but as they fall further and further behind in gold, the angles, the options get more and more limited.
And their angles are looking towards mid right now. Everybody from G2 was hovering. Triple control wards from them, and Saint smells it so much. He's all the way back to his secondary tower until Isles gets here to help defend him on the timer there. LYON remaining controlled. I think Inspired's timing has been quite good this game as well. You know, him going to follow up on these plays. Talk about timing as well, like every second counting on that top side play when Mega Gnar from Dokla had just barely, you know, the last second of it expiring, just as Inspired also gets there for that teleport return play. These small timings have really made big differences.
I mean, there's so much trust involved in that play, right? That Dokla is very confident he'll go in on Mega because Inspired is spending all that time, and we know how much he cares about efficiency. I thought it was really interesting. We heard Inspired say that he really trusts his laners at this international event. He said last year on FlyQuest there were times, especially as the team was kind of falling apart at Worlds, that every lane was on fire.
I ovo je top 4 na MSI-u, što je najjače, tako da ovo je sad u stvari dosta veliki meč.
And we're seeing that calm play and that trust.
Mislim, i dalje mislim da je Hanva veliki favorit kogoda prođe, ali... Ja iskreno mislim da GT ima više šanse da upsetuje Hanvu nego LYON.
Q3 ready to go for Broken Blade, not gonna get the angle! He's dizzy! He can do nothing! Big Dokes dunks him once again!
A kasteri, vrate, ko ja kad kastujem MMA Masters? Znači, kasteri, ko ja kad kastujem MMA Master? Kasteri su u fazonu, ajmo naši.
Broken Blade down on this pick that has been focused so heavily. Another counter pick foiled.
He's too big, guys. Please, take it, please. Make him smaller. The Dokes is too big. Please have mercy.
It's because Broken Blade gained so much size from the T1 series that Dokla is just able to... It's an infinitely stacking buff, right?
Yes. They're just going back and like Heartsteel, Mundo, Tank Engine, whatever. They both just keep getting larger. But unfortunately, Dokla very far ahead, looking like the much bigger Dokes. on this particular one, as G2 still setting up for these picks, looking for these angles. You guys highlighted it well in drafts. You have the Pantheon, you have Lebrov on the Nautilus. There is a world where you can find these quick picks, but it's really a credit to LYON that they haven't given any of those angles to G2.
Yeah, and I think if we think about the way this game will scale, Saint is actually a very important player in this game because it's very heavy physical damage for LYON. So if we just forecast it out to late game, having strong AP damage will be very important in how G2 will able to kill him. But also, like, LYON with this 3,000 gold lead, I don't love that they're just giving over the second Drake. They clearly have a lot of confidence in their ability to play with the gold lead, but G2, you should take those 2 Drakes for sure.
Happy to fight for it. I imagine the third Drake is going to see a little bit more of a contest.
Yep.
And to your point earlier, with Mountain Soul potentially on the board, even if G2 don't have a true tank, it will still be really valuable against that single AP threat, just to up those baseline resistances. Caps playing with a lot of respect here. There's no semi-globals on the side of LYON, but they've been so diligent in finding these moments, these opportunities, that he's still just going to back away on the top side.
Yeah, I think it's just a hover play because they don't have eyes on the...
Nema šta, G2 samo gubio, nema, mislim. I dalje nije gotovo, i dalje možda bude neki reverse sweep, da se razumemo, mislim, nije... Sve ovo i dalje može se dobije, samo je teško.
Use the gold better than the Gnar, so if they have the choice, let's give it to Saint, and they did so.
Really comfortable position for LYON. Again, the third Drake, really the only thing that feels like they have to contest. Everything else, they can take their time. They're in such a comfortable spot. The plays that they've made on their own have been good. The plays that they have punished from G2 when they've been over-eager have also turned in their favor. So with a 4K gold advantage, with the Herald falling uncontested, LYON set up to dominate in this mid-game. It's on G2 to look for those little angles, those tiny moments where they can pick off a key member on the side of LYON. Dokla, Inspired, Saint, all rocking those bounties on their heads. Potential targets for G2 to try and take down.
Yeah, and I think they really should try and focus on a way to inhibit the income from Saint. Like, especially if they can take him down, take away his flash or something.
Još malo i spike. Ne, mislim...
The Victor scaling.
Njemu treba mnogo itema. Prošli game smo previše dobili batine rano, tako da nekako ne verujem jako da će G2 izdržati samo zato što je prošli game izgledao kako je izgledao. A Gnar ili generalno kompozicija LYON je jako dobra da snowballa. Ono, kad si je head s ovom kompozicijom, onda definitivno nije toliko teško da nastaviš da snowballaš.
If they can chip away at a few of those key cooldowns from G2, leverage some of the advantage they have to take a bit more space as they're doing now. Zenith Blade ready to go. Q flash forward. Inspired looking for a bit of setup. Broken Blade has to flash over the wall. Lebrov not able to do anything. It's the R flash from Inspired.
Ma kakvi.
The mechanics are too damn clean.
Ma kakvi.
They can also just do that. So they're confident in that play. Inspired. I'm sorry, I wasn't familiar with your Lee Sin game. He is playing.
Where's the apology for him, chat?
Print it out, I'll sign it, I'll give him my social security number, credit card number, take what you want. I'll accept the fine. Inspired, you're popping off.
Completely dominant, that top side. Top jungle, not often the story of LYON. We talked so much about Berserker and Inspired. It was Saint in the previous game. Dokla, credit for weathering the storm, but really it is the Inspired and Dokla show now here in game 2. For a big performance to take us to match point, and so often we look back at these matchups. Broken Blade on the way and looking to stack the Q3. Skewmon ready to get it kicked off, but they present a response TP. They get Dokla's flash, and I think that's the most they can hope for. G2 just going to back away.
Yeah, they really wanted that big bounty. That's 525 gold, so Dokla just flashed away, made sure that wasn't a disaster, and now they're trying to repush.
I don't think you can hold this turret either. So G2, TP in. LYON commit their resources in response, and now the tier 1 falls. Sonic Wave not going to turn into a resonating strike. Mind and body saying no on that one.
I will say, at the very least, as we have another engage.
Blade. Immediate ulti, they get the flash out of Hans too. Everything is going in the favor of LYON. I just don't know if G2 are going to be able to contest with all these summoners and ultis just getting chipped away at.
Both teams have the same idea. With the Dragon, you know, was about a minute and 20 seconds away at the time. G2 say, hey, we're going to go for the flash off of Dokla. We need to get this flash away from Gnar so he doesn't destroy us in the fight. They do that, but then Isles also finding the flash here now off of Hansama. And the approach for LYON to this Drake is already lit up with that vision.
And it's so important for G2 to be mentally strong in this situation. This has to be so frustrating. All the early plays you tried to make did not work out. Your counter pick is not working out. And we've seen so many NA versus EU 3 O's. G2 do not want to add their name to that list any further. It happened once with FlyQuest, and the momentum in favor of LYON right now seems just a little unstoppable.
Kobe, would there be a reason that Lebrov is just sitting on an unupgraded support World Atlas? Because he's had it for a while. There's not some tech. Because so this happened, like sometimes when you're really locked into something or maybe you're a little tilted, you'll forget to do something like this. But okay, he finally upgraded it. He sat on it for about a minute, which was just a little peculiar. But it's completed now, no worries.
Mislim da im je borderline igrivo. Tad sam rekao da je Caps uzeo Tristanu, mnogo bi više verovao u ovaj game. Mnogo bi više verovao u ovaj game.
And they are congregating around the top side of the map. So they're thinking that LYON is taking Dragon, but LYON are actually up here kind of answering it. Saint does not have teleports though, and he is showing bottom lane.
G2 ready to potentially commit more members to the play, but Dokla not stepping up, not taking any trades, even if he's ahead of Caps in terms of gold, doesn't want to take the risk, and now LYON instead turning towards the mid lane.
Yeah, LYON just trying to make sure that their efficiency stays high, don't want to give an easy cross-map play to G2, so Saint ends up pushing that wave out, basing once again, and now they will look to take this wave this way.
Inspired already starting it, Baron has spawned as well. LYON with a 6k gold lead, taking their sweet time. This is the LYON comfort zone. No pressure on them to do anything on the map, looking for little advantages, chipping away slowly at G2 in this game, continuing to extend that gold lead, and now denying soul point from G2 as Hans does what he can to use that ulti and just clear out some of these waves, stop some of the pressure coming out of this LYON lineup.
Yeah, even invading the jungle, LYON now trying to take over the safe pathways of rotation.
Mislim, gle, flipali su za Bibija. I Bibi samo nije odigrao kako treba za sad. I to je veliki problem. Ali opet kako igrao juče ovih dana, ne možeš da kriviš G2 što su flipovali za Bibija.
Solar Flare does a bit of work, but now it's Doku's locked up, about to turn mini. Caps on the chase. G2 know this is their window to try and force a greater advantage. Broken Blade on the side, but there's no one there to alley-oop him. No one there to set up the knock-up. So they're forced to back away. Happy to have that shutdown.
Really smart smite there by Skumon. Trapping the Lee Sin under the turret. Does not let Inspired even flash away. They'll get that bounty. Yaz traded one for him. That's way more gold in the favor of G2.
And they were looking to make more out of it, you know, rotating Broken Blade over, trying to get the chase down. But they will be happy at the very least to get the shutdown. So here it is, going in. The Herald only has 756 health, so Skumon one-shots the Herald, and then they go in with the CC chain to take down Inspired and get the shutdown onto that Ziggs, which does scale well.
And continues to be able to clear waves. It's always difficult to end the games into a Zig. So even if we may not be super confident in Hansama's mage play, he can definitely make this game last a while.
Bot lane Ziggs. The other thing about Mage's bottom lane, you get more gold and you get an extra item space, and that death cap being so close does spell a comeback avenue.
And that multiplier on the AP means that extra item means even more than it might for an AD carry, i.e. the equivalent multiplier, but you get capped with a 100% crit, right? So need to see if Hansama can get there. It's a tall task, but hey, if you have to stall a game, you highlighted it well, Jet. A control mage is pretty much the best way to do it.
They'll still have the pick potential from the Pantheon, Yasuo, and Nautilus, but LYON is still going to be pretty comfortable with their position in this game. We just gotta see if they're able to close it. The early drakes that
Dokle je baš jaka, čak nije otišao na Omen. Jako čisto u matchupu vidimo Gnara da ide drugi item Omen. Jer to je jedan od malo načina gdje možeš igrati u Yasuo. Ali izgleda da to njemu nije preterano bitno jer je u fazonu svako sam dovoljno ahead, tako da mogu da priuštim sebi da idem na agresivniju opciju.
This Yasuo counter pick and keeping Broken Blade down does make those side lanes for G2 a lot more difficult to play.
Dokla. Nice play there on the wall up, yeah. Wall up hop there. Now you're at least going to get some plates. Wave immediately going to get deleted. That's Solar Flare. Skumon waiting for a bit more time. Hasn't been able to pop the Aegis Assault. Can block some of the fall-off damage now. The wind wall there as well.
So this is all during the split push for Caps. Caps is getting gold for G2 on the other side of the map. They're playing 3 lanes at this time, while LYON only playing the 2.
Rob fishing. Maybe hoping to catch someone on a sloppy recall. Again, LYON very much grouped up. You highlighted it well. Mid lane the main focus. Moving up now towards Caps, or at least maybe just trying to control Baron vision. With a Cassio on the enemy team, a rapid Baron always has to be taken into account.
And I really like the way G2 has been able to stall this game out. And, you know, even if the gold has stayed at 4,000, the percentage of the gold difference decreases as every CS is acquired by G2. So they're not that far behind in items when we do see a fight. I mean, looking at Caps, completed Seraphs, the upgraded Mercury Treads, he's going to be able to pump out a good amount of sustained damage if G2 decide to find a fight.
And again, the Ziggs with the multiplier here, with the death cap done, you take that any day over these nerfed Varus, you know, damage here that you do have as a comparison. Even with the spell shield here, picked up for Berserker.
Irelija, šta je? Irelija Tarik. Čuo sam za Irelija Tarik botlane. Šta više, morao sam da igram u to relativno često i...
We'll see at the approach to the next fight if they're able to get some poke damage done as well.
Yeah. Of course, max rank, you know, base damage still okay on that Varus Q, but as we get later, it is the bonus AD scaling that was hit. Full charge.
I mogu reći da nisam ljubitelj kao AD carry.
Bonus AD, now it's only 120. And those numbers start to add up in an extended fight. So often lethality Varus is kind of determined if he can hit those abilities or not. Pantheon coming down on a Berserker. Immediate Ghostblade to take him away. Saint now following. They're looking for a disengage, but Isles is recommitted to the fight. The miasma there to stop him getting out. Broken Blade up on the side, trying to make the difference. Windwall to stop any potential follow-up. Now able to retreat as well. An excellent pick for G2. Down goes Isles, but Broken Blade injured.
And that's with the Drake up right now, so I feel like LYON is potentially going to have to concede the Saint, and Berserker could teleport back in now that Inspired is here, and Dokla about to hit Meganar.
Dokla about to hit Mega, hooked in, wall up there. He's trying to make his way out. They're trying to burn him down so he can't get the ulti. Dokla being low, the Mega gonna fade away. LYON, it looks like gonna back off of this one, willing to concede Soul Point. They don't want to risk the fight.
G2, huge fast play for them. They get the pick, they see them in the river, they do not hesitate, and they get themselves to Dragon Soul Point. That mountain.
Da će ovo biti dovoljno, nisam siguran, sad ćemo da ima.
This is just so well done by G2, using the Pantheon ultimate to create the numbers advantage, and after Saint flashes away, that means Isles is trapped in here. Does decide to go back in, potentially should have flashed away, because this is a numbers advantage the entire time for G2.
Exactly, it's all because Inspired was up on the top side of the map for the Lee Sin there, so he was never there. And G2, they choose their moment. They're teleport in at the same time as the Pantheon ultimate. They go for the lockup and calmly get themselves to their win con here. Mountain Soul on the table, getting tense.
That should give G2 a lot of confidence with Soul Point and just the way that extended fight went. They got the flash out of Dokla, they got the flash out of Saint, they got the flash out of Isles. So now if they land another hook, or if Skumon uses his next ultimate timer, maybe they can get that one shot on an important player. And as we said before, the item gap is kind of non-existent in this game.
Yeah, and I think their dream is to one-shot Saint. The Victor here with no flash had to flash out of the river in the previous one. And with a lot of the flash advantages to the side of G2, they have a lot of playmaking, but
mogu za minut.
Until that dragon, so there is time to work with to try and make side lane picks and try and use a Pantheon ultimate and see if you can fish around for a little bit more before the full commit.
Very playable situation now for G2 Esports. Again, respect still has to be paid to Inspired and Dokla. Dokla finishing up that third item, a GA4 Inspired. The previous play, you highlighted it well, right? The reason it works out is Dokla doesn't get to have that Dream Gnar moment where you're knocking 4 people into the wall, and that's what can happen if G2 get to start a fight on their terms. But again, with a lot of these side lane threats, with how powerful Dokla is now, it's difficult for G2 to find those angles without use of that Pantheon ultimate.
Yeah. It's very scary as far as the pick potential. And when you position your Ziggs in mid lane here for Hansama, he's level 16 now, and the ultimate...
Ne, Ziggs nije dovoljno uradio, ja kažem, mislim, uzeli su Ziggsa da enabluju neki, kažem, neki physical damage pick, da enabluju Yasuo na topu. Ali ono što je možda najbolnije je što je to clutch pick za G2. LYON je to znao, dao im je Yasuo i opet ništa nisu radili s tim. To je možda i najveći problem.
On the Baron area, this game is feeling more and more like an even game, just by the way the map is moving and kind of ignoring what we see on the goal.
LYON doing what they can to hold on to mid prio, but again, just the 2 minutes until this potential soul for G2 will spawn. The tension continues to grow as neither team feels like they're in a good spot to force the Baron, but now Pantheon heading bot lane. Dokla running for his life. Inspired just reset. A tiny window now for G2 as the Mega Inferno Bomb is laid down on top. Dokla running for his life. Miasma there. Now
Opet Casio skela i Asus skela, Dokla pravi grešku, mislim. Svaki kill koji dobijemo nas drži malo duže u gameu, tako da nije loše.
The side lane pick that they were looking for. The Pantheon ult comes in, and Dokla, no flash. There's no way he can get out of this one. Caps uses his advantage to make sure of it. He flashes forward to make sure they can miasma, and they get the kill ahead of time. Saint has gone to split push during that time, though. They try to get something cross-map. He gets the minion wave at the very least up to the top tower.
G2, though, going to take control of this Baron area. Dokla's still dead for another 30 seconds, and Cassiopeia kills Baron so fast.
G2 hiding in the darkness. You can see LYON don't have the best vision set up. You highlighted it well. The Cassio tearing through the Baron, but Inspired. Can he take the 50-50? Will G2 take the risk? More importantly, Berserker, ulti connecting onto Labrov. The follow-up, not quite going to connect on Hansama. Labrov getting lower. Sonic Wave connecting. Resonating struck in the way in. The flash.
Damage.
The Seeker keeping him standing. Hansama's blinking health.
Inspired i dalje ima.
Inspired looking for the follow. Ready to ward hop over the
Da, ima to. Ima to. Ja mislim da Bibi ne može ni da ubija Ajla ovdje, što je najcrnije od svega. Nope. I ovo je Ace, i ovo je Baron, i ovo je game. Dobro.
Saint and Inspired come up clutch. The Victor gets the early kills, teleports in behind him, but it is Inspired with his fearlessness chasing them down.
I think that is just so well communicated from LYON. They call for the Varus ult into the Leona ult to buy time for Saint to get there. They CC chain the Nautilus and delay until Saint can get there over the wall, the Victor ultimate, and he was ready with his Zhonya's.
LYON looking to finish it here. Don't want to give any more time to G2 Esports. G2 might have taken down the back-to-back world champions, but they're on the cusp of losing back-to-back games against the best in the LCS.
We've already seen on a reverse.
Dobro, mislim, ajde, reverse sweep nije nemoguć, vidjeli smo ga i ranije, tako da... Vidjet ćemo da li je moguće, vidjet ćemo da li će G2 uspjeti da se vrati nazad. Vidjet ćemo pak samo da vidimo kako Amerika dobije Evropu još jednom.
Ground, 6 feet under.
6 feet
Make it 12 because it's been doubly bad, to be honest. It is not look good for G2.
No.
It's been a stop in the early game. Give it a game 3. We'll wait for game 3.
Reportovati kastere, hvala puno. Jako i sve snage reportovati kastere. Idemo na pauzicu, imamo 10 minuta i tu smo za možda i finalni game ove serije.
Really big game on it already at this tournament, but it's, I mean, I just love Dokla so much. His story is so interesting where he keeps kind of getting benched or like kicked off teams.
Yeah.
Needs to find another home.
Gotta stop underestimating him.
Castle was brought in, right? Like, and he showed the F up in this game.
Always the bridesmaid, never the bride, but damn, he is showing up here, especially in this game too. And I'm mad because during the series against T1, he was Broken Blade leading the show against Doran, and here I feel like he doesn't even exist, man, in his matchup. It's so sad.
That's the thing, like, it's sure Inspired was up there a little bit, but Dokla...
A little bit?
But before that, Dokla was killing BB in the 1v1. Like, Dokla's outperforming on the Gnar, and outperforming, honestly, in both Game 1 and Game 2. Like, he played well in the Renekton versus Anivia, really didn't let BB get a lead there, and now coming into this game as well, he just blew Broken Blade out of the water, counter pick or not.
And this is why I talk so much about prep, and we even got to see the prep in-game, and every second counts, and thanks to the reliable Cisco network, the top lane just goes and goes and goes. And the beautiful thing about this is he TP'd so aggressively because Inspired was behind him and because he still had Mega. So the fact that he arrives in Mega, throws down the wall up, Skumon had used the Aegis Assault offensively, which meant he had no recourse in that fight. And then the 1v1, the solo bolo Dokla giving him the business.
Wow.
Yeah, the fact that you didn't even have the last breath there really setting it up perfectly. Dokla understanding. Here, I was so confused. Like, we know that line of left mid, and we're like, we can 2v2 this. Like, nothing can go wrong against the Fed Gnar. Like,
who
There was some question
he
marks
was just about to hit Mega too, right? Like that was the thing that I really loved is they played so well around Dokla's Mega usage. And that's a team thing as well, right? Like, that's not only Dokla playing really well individually, but it's the team tracking and making sure. And this is consistent from his previous NAR performance as well, where I also thought they used his Rage Bar really well.
Also, shout out to Inspired in so many of these clips. This man was everywhere supporting Dokla and styling on it. This looked like a Lee Sin montage. Like, we're literally getting TikToked right now.
And we know
we had the Yasuo.
We know that Inspired is deadly on Lee Sin, but he's been deadly when it comes to smashing Europeans' hope time and time again. Ezel, you were talking about it last year with FlyQuest. He's doing it again this time around with a different team, with LYON. Him and Dokla are running the show right now. This is not the first time that EU is let down by some kind of Lions, but I feel like it's just gonna get worse and worse. G2 turning into a pumpkin this time around.
I will say though, you know, take my bias hat off. I think G2 is a team that is extremely mentally strong. We saw them actually reverse sweep against top. We've seen them pull off, you know, some crazy upsets, some crazy, you know, momentum shifts. And I do think if I am G2, I'm betting it all on Caps. Give him the matchup, send everything mid lane, and get this man to take you to the promised land.
I actually have some real-time footage of how it feels to be a European fan right now, if we can check it out. Jokes aside, G2, you need to reset. This is how they're doing it backstage, but Dagda, give us some hopes. Once again, if there's any, G2 reverse swept 4 times in their history. 2 of them were this year. Do we think they can do it again here?
I mean, that has to be the one thing that you hold on to, but it doesn't really feel like we're seeing the same G2 that we got to see against, like, the top esports or the T1s. Like, we're not getting Lebrov out on the map. Skillmon isn't syncing up with him as well as he could. BB's been found out in the top lane. It is looking dire. I think we have to try and find some sort of stability there. Easy matchup for BB in the top lane. Try and get Caps going, but try and get Lebrov out of the bottom lane. Like, he has been so good when he's on the Bard. When he's on these roam picks, you just haven't seen it this series.
You know, a wise lady once said that it starts with success. It starts with overcoming your failure, and nothing represents more this than LYON right now. There are 2, and they only need 1 more game to make it happen. They will be
The human body was built to move, not trapped at a desk in one singular posture for 12 hours a day. It's time your chair evolved. This is Secret Lab Titan Evo. Ergonomically engineered for you, gamers, hybrid workers, artists, backing your every move.
Times like this are where star players shine and new legends step up, where legacies are built and dreams are either realized or ripped apart.
He still doesn't die! You cannot step the Vega and expect to live to talk about tomorrow! He blocked it well as the Arcane Storm doing so much work in Gen 2! They are just going to ace them!
Red Bull gives you wings. Bull gives you wings.
Tired of the off-season blues once Worlds is over? Fear not, because League of Legends is coming to the very first Esports Nations Cup, where players split from their clubs and compete for national pride. Will China test every limit imaginable? Will South Korea turn every game into a macro masterclass? Will EU and NA actually play in the correct lanes? The final event of the year is not to be missed. Esports Nations Cup 2026. See you in Riyadh.
라이언이 정말 강력한 힘을 보여주면서 2대 0입니다. What happened, Sean? I don't know. I'm so sad. How was the match? Second match?
It wasn't good. But G2 reverse swap TES. So maybe
lose win win?
Yeah.
Oh my god. 페페 승승승을 예상해 주시는데요. 그래서 저희가 G2 팬과 라이언 팬을 모셔봤습니다. 자, 그래서 가위바위보를 진행해 볼 건데요. 자, 준비되셨나요? Are you ready?
Yes.
Are you ready? 네. 자, 가보도록 하겠습니다. Rock, paper, scissors. 와! G2 win. Rock, paper, scissors. Rock, paper, scissors. 와! 2대 0. Rock, paper, scissors. 와! 2대 1. Rock, paper, scissors. Rock, paper, scissors. 와! G2 팬들이 강력함을 보여주면서 가위바위보 승리했습니다. G2 fan is so strong! Yeah, congratulations!
luckily the fans are doing better than the team.
Yes! Let's cheer for Lion and G2. Lion, fighting! G2, fighting! Yeah!
Yeah, damage now is good.
Play slow, play slow.
He wants to ult someone.
Okay. Yeah. Look here. I'm fine, come. Okay, play slow. Yeah.
Thanks, Flash.
Look.
I will TP, keep going.
I TP behind. Okay. Don't play slow. Yeah. Look good.
Yeah. Thanks, no Flash. Can't scare.
Look Hunter.
No Flash.
Hunter, no flash, guys. Go.
Keep going. No Flash, Cassian, no ult.
G2 might have taken down the back-to-back world champions, but they're on the cusp of losing back-to-back games against the best in the LCS. Welcome back to MSI 2026, where the mood is at an all-time high in the G2 camp, because they've reverse swept before, and they're certainly going to do it again.
Listen,
certainly.
Of teams that reverse sweep, G2 doesn't do it more often. They have 4 reverse sweeps in their organization's history. They have 2 in the last month. They did it in the LEC playoffs. They've done it at this MSI. So this is not a place of comfort for Lion to be like, oh, we're 2 up. Surely we close them out. They have to continue to play well.
It's extreme nerves, Dracos, okay?
Yeah, it's extreme nerves. There's a mental fortitude that has to happen, because remember, we've never had, in Riot International history, a 5th game in an EU versus NA best of 5. We've gotten close.
That's crazy.
It was TL versus Fnatic, although the series
I
was
evo nas nazad.
close. That was 4 games at the very least. There's a lot of 3-0s.
But 4 is close to 5.
4 is close to 5. Adjacent numbers, which we'll take as coming into this game.
I ajmo da vidimo situaciju, da imamo šta se događa.
Second pick, wanting that counter pick for the top side, and every counter pick that G2 have been able to grab really has not worked out for them thus far.
And G2 has varied their bans a little bit throughout this series. They banned Jace in every game and Nocturne in every game, and crucially have left it open this time. They were giving respect to Dokle's Jace, but this is actually the pick that I'd identified, Dracos, between games of I think G2 should let Dokle play it because they might be able to neutralize it. I think that's the gambit they're taking here.
And G2, they have given up on this counter pick thing. You know, LYON is going to have the counter pick this time around, so we'll see what Dokle does, because Dokle has done such a good job without it in the top lane thus far. And now G2 are going to have the first pick instead.
They take Jace. Oh, BB Jace, or Caps Jace, or Skumon Jace. I don't see a Jace this.
I mean, they could. They're all viable.
One of the biggest criticisms levied against G2 in meta's past has been that Broken Blade does not play Rumble and that he does not play Jace. While he has littered some games in there to kind of contest that narrative, it is not considered one of his strong picks, his signature picks, or even one of his good picks. So to bet it on a potential top lane Drace is a hugely ballsy move for G2. But remember, after the disaster versus HLE, they bet on BB against T1, and it absolutely paid off. They might be doing the same here.
And my favorite iteration of G2, the most successful iteration, was when they were, you know, flexing Pyke in all 5 roles, and even the coach will play it. And so we'll see as they keep it very flexible early on. But still, the payment for that Jace is quite big. Rise here is looking very good with the current champions out of Fearless. And they also are going to get extra side lane pressure with a Bard. So this kind of a classic combo, having the Rise and the Bard really early on, does make your mid game. You have a lot of leeway in side lanes.
I'm just...
Well, it's not a jungle Jace.
I'm still surprised that...
And it's not a mid lane Jace. That's Broken Blade Jace guaranteed.
So if this wasn't MSI, where teams look at Sion's win rate and see that it's 0-9, Dokle would lock Sion right here, because it's double AD top jungle, and he would just play to neutralize it.
Da, reversi, boga mi.
To secure the bottom lane, which again
neće biti lako, neće biti lako.
The bot lane for LYON has kind of taken Hansama and Lebrov out of this series, and Lebrov has been such a big playmaker. When G2's at their best, it's because Hans and Lebrov are like pushing the tempo 2v2, getting things to happen, and they haven't been able to do that this series. So again, high priority by LYON on their bot 2v2.
I do want to point out, Caps has a pentakill already at this tournament on this champion, Dracos.
I appreciate you
That's got to give you something.
You're giving me a lot of the silver linings. There might even be some gold linings on this particular cloud, and Caps on the Syndra is one of them. Now, with the Caitlyn locked in, I'm curious if LYON will even spend a ban on the Mel.
Caitlyn, Bard, Rise, sami se više sviđa draft LYON-a.
This comp would work really well with Melbot.
Ne, meni je najfascinantije što kažem, pustili su G2 u sve pikove. Znači, znali su šta G2 radi, dali su G2 to da radi i polomili su ih 2 gema. Kao blindovali su Gnara, a Yasuo je ostao otvoren. Znali su da će to Bibi da radi. I ovaj Jace mi ne uliva veru u ovu partiju, neću vas lagati, ali ajde, mislim, kažem, Bibi imao stvarno giga dobre partije, tako da...
It's scary for LYON.
Mel can be vulnerable to the Bard.
They're not scared at all. They're not scared at all.
Not scared after the previous mage game they faced down. And they feel it's more adequate to take away playmaking from Lebrov, you know. That Rakan into the Bard option, so is another good denial.
Really don't want to give Inspired the Kiana, a champion who can really pull off a lot of those early ganks, maybe contest at a time where Skumon would still really prefer to farm until 6. Debate now from LYON, what do they want to lock in? Pretty comfortable with their bot lane 2v2. And the top side wide open for them. They know what they're playing against in that regard.
Gledam da li mogu da flexiju, ali ne mogu ni to da urade.
Immobile champions of the Syndra and the Jace. You can get a lot of value out of the pillar.
High pillar value. It's an okay pick into the Wukong, not incredible, but and they're just going with hyperscaling bot lane. Okay.
Yeah, no mages. No, they don't want to see mages again.
They're not going to go out of this tournament playing Ziggs Mel, that's for sure.
Yunara Lulu, the lock-in for Hans and Lebrov at match point.
And pre-6, they have to be careful because post-6, Yunara has some play against the Trundle Pillar, but pre-6 it can be really tricky.
Teško, jako teško.
That said, Labrov looked fantastic on the slew the last time we saw it.
Yorick would be an angle if he wants to. Dokla has played Yorick in the past. The Olaf hover is... It's just in. It's Olaf.
Olaf does so well into all this CC. The Lulu polymorph don't care. The spinning Wukong gonna run right past him. Dokla, they're putting all their faith in Big Dokes. He has had the advantage in the top lane matchup this series, and they're gonna say it will continue.
No Olaf this year for Dokla. One Olaf game in his 480 career games we have on record. So he's definitely pulling for this, but he will have definitely played it in solo queue, be comfortable with the pick, and it fits the comp. And what LYON has done this year with Dokla, in Split 1 playoffs for LCS Lock-in and in Split 2, they're very comfortable throwing him on any counter pick, and they trust him to execute.
And Inspired is on Trundle, a very strong duelist. Before Wukong gets to level 6, I want to see where Inspired goes, how he wants to put some pressure here, because jungle can really make the difference in these matchups. You know, picking the Olaf into the Jace, if your jungle is constantly invading, marking this Wukong, chasing this Wukong away, then you can have a lot more pressure and threaten all-ins yourself.
Game 1, a slow pace relatively. Game 2 was getting faster and faster, more in favor
Sad mi zanimljivo, gledam za koga betujete.
LYON, potentially with this Olaf looking towards top side. Might get even faster. RG2 ready for that pace of play. We talked about the scaling of the Yunara is there. Syndra strong early, has a good setup, but you got a Wukong who wants to farm. G2 gonna have a tough time in navigating this early game as we load into game 3. LYON up 2-0. Looking for the clean sweep against the G2 who just took down T1.
Neće biti baš teško za G2 da se vrati, ali ako se vrati jedan game, vidi. Samo im treba jedan game da se vrate malo u zonu. Ako se vrate u jedan game, ja verujem u reverse sweep.
Immediate ghost coming out from Saint, looking to extend his advantage. Nice ward placed, giving information, and we'll just back away. Happy to potentially chip away at those pots, or maybe get even an early TP. Also spots Skewmon. So much information in favor of LYON.
Caps gets theirs for the minions, though. He gets back for all 3 melees. So even though he gets chased around, the timing is okay for him. Meanwhile, bottom lane.
Bottom lane all in. Hansama fully stacked on the Q. Nice interrupt coming in for the Cosmic Binding on Isles. Really saves that exchange.
Extremely important stun and lethal tempo on both 80 carries. So these extended trades can be very powerful.
Exactly. The level 1 of Yunara is where you really have to worry about. When everybody's on one ability and she can stack her Q, the chase down is terrifying. So Inspired, we were looking at what's he going to do with this early Trundle, and the answer is bot.
Level 1. Just now going to take over to level 2. They're going to notice it, but it might be too late. Q flash goes completely wide. LeBron still has access to the flash. They're trying to finish off first blood.
It's okay, Isles. They still got the kill.
A ne bi smeli da gubimo ovako rano. Ali opet Inspired nalazi...
It goes over to Isles, unfortunately, though. You'd love to have that kill on a Berserker.
Opet Inspired nalazi, brate, run pressure.
Was it that if G2 wanted to win this game, they had to get their bot lane ahead? Unfortunately, that is the exact opposite of what has happened. Inspired a level 2 gank on this Trundle, recognizing that window, recognizing what G2 might want to play for, and shutting it down.
And this is one of the reasons that Inspired has owned the region, whether he's on EG, FlyQuest, or LYON. He identifies the win condition of the game faster than anybody else, and he will change his game for that. In regular season, he's just the full clear guy, not really letting you know his plans.
Ne, ali trebamo da izbacimo ti van i onda treba da nas izbaci LYON. Stvarno nevjerovatno.
That's way faster than anyone expected. He's probably never done that gank all year, but he pulls it out in this moment because he knows that's what the game requires.
And for the first time in the series, not playing towards the top side of the map, not worried about it, saying, Dokla, we expect you to lose this one, but it's fine because it's been fine in every game prior to this. 1-6-1 versus 5-1-7. A massive discrepancy. And, okay, all right. We're already scared.
LCS official.
That is definitely a large bicep on your screen right there.
Jao, kako je dočekam da ih nalupa Hanva. Jao, kako je dočekam da ih nalupa Hanva ako budu dobili. Znači ne znam da ću ikad jače navijati za Hanvu u životu.
Is it a curse?
Skewmon on the way up. Has it been the caster curse? Skewmon go in for a little bit more poke damage, but Dokla managing to live. Concedes both sums, but happy to walk away with his life.
No TP though, so he's definitely going to lose a significant portion from that, and now be kind of stuck under his turret for quite a while, so doesn't get the kill, but a nice gank by Skewmon.
Yeah, large value there for
Nah,
Skewmon.
dog.
The The answer, or the question is going to
Sam
be
te na
then, what
mikro.
is Inspire going to do after Crab? Can he actually get there to contest the Raptors? Because they have mid lane move. They're actually going to full send bot again.
That's the portal. LeBron and Hansama going to be in trouble again. LeBron still has flash from the previous play, as does Hans. He's going to be forced to burn it now, and the damage is still coming in.
Ma kakvi. Ma kakvi.
Inspired flashes forward.
Inspired samo objašnjava G2 zašto su trebali njega da uzmu za ovaj split.
Guys, this is a my steak too buttery, my lobster too juicy moment. He's fine. It's fine.
They need this one. They need to get the kill under tower. Flash from Inspired goes back in. We'll see about the ramifications of that as well, though, because Caitlyn, Bard, constant pushing, constant pressure. Now into the Yunara Lulu will keep them down for the mid game.
Yeah, the kills would be better on Berserker, but Hansama being on 25 CS, no flash, 4.5 minutes into this game is the point of those ganks by Inspired.
And I'd even rather have them on Inspired too, because he is sacrificing camps to do these. You know, he's investing in bot lane, and he invested his flash there as well to go back under tower to get the job done. And, you know, the Trundle, they do want him to have a good economy still in this game. Yes, a lot of it is, hey, we're going to focus our Caitlyn Bard, get them to have some very oppressive pushing and open up some roam timers for the Bard. But you still also, as Trundle, you always got to keep your own economy good as well.
Više je problem što Hansama, kad Hansama umre ne farmuje, nego što je ovaj Bard dobio kill.
No doubt the most clutch player on this G2 lineup. Might not matter if he's not able to find that 1v1 in lane. Dokla just now ticking over to level 6. The trades thus far have been favoring Broken Blade, but now that he can't use the Thundering Smash to knock back the Olaf, it's going to get a lot more difficult.
Yeah, still waiting on that flash and ghost to come back up to be able to show.
Kao više je minus 300 golda na Yunari nego što je plus 300 na Bardu. To je poenta.
Zero TPs from anybody online. Last game we had 3, so they were really flying all over the place. Now they're going to be a lot more isolated in their own lanes.
Back to the top lane now, Inspired.
Walking up desperately, wants that one auto onto the plate.
So look at Wukong as well. So this is interesting because he's wrapping around and is going to place the deep control ward. They go for the ping here. Yes, thank you very much, observers, to try and get that information on Inspired's route.
Wrap around to mid. Saint first on the push. Rise wave clear at this point, still quite good. Seems we're going to have a hard time bursting out the Rise, especially as he gets closer and closer to completing that mid lane quest in the tier 3 boots. Extra shield can make a big difference. And trying to keep info on what Skewmon has taken as he uses the overload just to poke at the Raptor camp, but it doesn't connect, so Skewmon's fine.
Yeah, Saint, even though he's down a little bit in CS, still able to keep the pressure up in this lane. Tries to get a little bit of information for Inspired, who's on his blue.
Bot lane, Berserker and Isles continuing to push up, and you can feel the tension in this game. The explosion of early action in the favor of LYON has slowed down a bit as they continue to build up these gold leads for Berserker.
Yeah, and a lot of the point that we were making about Inspired's early jungle power on the Trundle over the Wukong. Wait.
Journey coming through, heal for additional movement speed, locking up Hansama, ulti onto him as well. Skewmon on the way in, wants to start spinning, has to body block the shot, and crucially does so. The play stops. Skewmon continuing to walk up. Realm Warp on the way in, Saint on the way too.
Okay, Skewmon. Umre je za to, bacio je flash i ulti.
Berserker to finish it. Saint hungry for more.
Yeah, Saint ghosts and roams. Look at the mid lane too. They had Dokla walk down there. It's over vision.
Dokla. Caps ima flash.
I don't think there's really anywhere for him to go. Flashing finally.
Da, nije mogo. Lepo su odigrali. Saint je bio s donje strane.
Saint making plays, but LYON shift everything down bottom lane to really overload and win those skirmishes.
They're all on board with the mat movements. I mean, they send 4 people bottom to shift and then...
Gle šta rade, brate, mi li igraju ko Prime T1. Pogle ovo, molim te. Ništa, ideš uzmeš plate. Uzmeš plate i kažeš unlucky.
Just to take time to contemplate what went wrong. He's as good as dead, but he's running for his life. He wants to go out on his terms. Broken Blade falls.
Braća moja asendovala igraju ko Peak T1, ono, ja ne mogu verujem. Znači prave bot top play u isto vreme.
Trouble, magical journey, not enough. Quick kill for Caps.
Some hope back for G2. Caps does get the execution. LYON still snowballing the map here, but that is some money where they want it.
Let's see how the lanes shake out here because role quests still aren't completed, and they did a great shift, but now can they make it back? Remember, it's no TPs versus double TP, so G2 should be able to play a little bit of catch-up as they're going to use that kill onto Isles to be able to secure these grubs.
That they are, although Broken Blade losing out on that cannon. It's like one additional CS on the return to top side. The grubs, though, going to feel nice for G2. Neither side has taken a Drake yet, so there's not this big pressure point that's going to force these fights as we saw in the first two games. But still, the early game looking rough, and Berserker is going to be the problem. You mentioned it. Once those role quests are done, that Caitlyn gets out of that lane, all your tier 1 towers are going to start to fall.
And the roaming will continue for Lion. You know, with Bard and Ryze especially, both Isles and Saint going to be making a lot of visits between bot lane and mid lane here.
Isles, ulti dash to the side. Spawning with an ulti as well from Isles.
You know, Isles is doing stuff. I'm not trusting what he's doing. He's missed a couple Qs, he's taken a few kills, but still trying to provide the pressure.
And I will say, getting that Yunara ult down, maybe that is super valuable for this dragon. No Yunara ultimate, and a lot of the power budget is in that thing.
Nice full connects. Isles able to magical journey out.
Gotta be careful about this.
Ne znam, to nerealno mi je.
Love to find another ultimate, especially on a flashless, ultless ball.
Baš mi je nerealno.
Lion needs to make sure they don't rush this. Berserker's in a good state in the game, and I think they just want to really play around this Caitlyn and possibly the Ryze.
Su braća moja asendovala, pogotovo ovaj game. Ovo je baš bolesno.
This time from G2, they've got caps here. He wants a burst.
Nobody is there to defend for Dokla.
Shockwave goes wide. There's not really much of a play there. Caps relatively low on mana as well. Definitely could have gotten the full combo, but hoping Dokla would overextend into the 1-for-1 and fight with his flash available.
Big Dokes with the weak side play, not overcommitting, not face checking, managing to find caps, and then just kind of cheat this next wave as well in the top lane. So surviving this early laning phase against the Jace as he's trying to scale up on the Olaf.
That he is. Broken Blade doing what he can to build up this gold lead. You can see the CS very much in his favor. The assist helping balance things out for Dokla, but we saw this in game 1 too with the Anivia. A little gold lead, not enough when you have this really powerful.
No, Kapsik ga lepo igrao Sindru i prošli put, tako da.
Yeah, G2 try and get something because they know Lion are going to set up for the Dragon, and now they're going to make their way over. The objectives should be burned down in time for Lion, but can G2 close the trap shut here? It doesn't look like they'll be able to cut off anyone from Lion. Lebrov and Skumon still hunting.
Maybe Inspired will overcommit for a jungle camp, looking for an exit kill. Berserker under the tower here. Do they want to go for the dive? They don't have a wave to do it, but they're still trying to jail Berserker under this tower. Likely Inspired will cancel the recall. It's the cue to do it in the end.
Yeah, Isles on the way to defend as well, making sure they keep vision on Skumon.
Lockdown onto Skumon connects. Forced to move out with a playful Trickster, and there's the ulti right when they need it. Skumon gonna have to start spinning if he wants to get away from this one, trying to backstep the Q! Isles clutching the moment, living for an extra second before Inspired bites down, takes a chunk out of the G2 jungler. The ace in the hole. Saint on the way. Lebrov moving in a different direction just because he knows he's a dead man walking. A beautiful play for Lion and for Isles.
Isles hits the cosmic binding to keep the play going, and Lion strike again in the bottom lane. They're going to finish the first tower of the game on top of it.
I'm just going to fill out another apology for him. Isles, your Bard, I wasn't familiar with your game, but I love just the patience from Lion right there. Inspired, staying extra just in case there was a dive, then cautiously checking the bush to see if Skumon was still there.
So Berserker goes for the Q off of that stun, and then he tries to net over the wall here, but doesn't get it. So I was like, oh, okay, maybe Q can run away, but Isles says no way. He's going to be able to take them down. The immediate flash follow from Inspired and the chase down.
Caps trying to make a difference in the bottom lane, but that's most of his damage. Flashback from Saint, respecting that there could be more members for G2 there, and indeed they are. Spots on Sama on the wave.
It feels like when a play goes good for Lion, that's when we pan back to Caps making a play. Can't quite get the kill there, though. Just gets the flash from Saint as Berserker is just moving around the map, trying to farm the plates.
Skara.
Ne, ali iskreno, i Lion šije, da se ne laže. I Lion igra mnogo lepo. Ne možemo ni to da im oduzmemo, brate. Jes da nas šiju Ameri, ali brate mili, ovaj game je baš clean, brate. Što jeste, ovaj game igraju bolesno.
Skumon looking for an angle here in the river, really trying to find that game or series changing fight I remember G2 being down 0-2 to
Rotacije, dive-ovi, inspired map pressure. Znači, vrate što jest, ono.
G2 looking for a similar type moment to pull things back.
Inspired. Just walk into jungle. Go for that scuttle crab. LeBron, don't do that. Come on, Inspired. Tasty, tasty crab. Right in the river. Just walk in. Don't auto attack, and then for some reason walk into our tier 1.
Syndra can steal it. We had Cap Syndra in that TES game.
Little fishing. I don't think he'll do it.
Yeah,
I think we got one of those in this tournament as an EU rep, but maybe we'll get 2. The NA brain cannot resist a crab.
True. It is our weakness. We love our crabs. Dokla has been very patient in this bush.
Da, ovaj game stvarno, brate, LYON, te klikću, mislim, nema šta.
Especially powerful.
To get that cannon.
Okay, a bit of poke.
Yeah, just cheating some experience. Still in survival mode against this Jace. I mean, Broken Blade's Jace has been able to accrue a 500 gold advantage for himself, and that's after absorbing that one gank. So really trying to just slowly chip away at this game before he arrives for the poke.
Skumon here for the cover, but LYON are bringing more members.
That they are. Skumon not positioned against the wall, so the Cosmic Binding won't do much here, but he's just getting poked. It's a bit of damage back onto Isles. Quick Magical Journey takes him out. Just this constant thorn in the side of G2 Esports. Isles has been playing this game very proactively. I know you guys are like, we would have like some kills to go here, we would have like some other stuff to go here. Yeah. But overall, his impact in this game, incredibly positive.
And with those kills, you want all of the damage so that you get the kill for sure anyway.
Yep. They were close.
Yeah, if one of those kills does not get, you actually secure it, then you're way more heartbroken. So let's take a look, because he's on us on a good power spike too. Does get his blood song now for Bard, even with the nerfs to the damage of Bard. Still very powerful there, and his Mikhail's at the ready to try and deal with that CC from G2 when they go for the big play. It's so nice for LYON to be able to have Mikhail's for your Trundle and Olaf having his own ultimate to go CC immune, so their front line can really, really be difficult for G2 to solve.
Yeah, but LYON's got to be really careful with how they approach the Lulu Yunara with the current power spikes. They can go beast mode. They have the Arden Sensor, the Yunara Art, the Lulu ult, and really try and run over fight, especially if Skumon finds a good engage.
And prioritizing the Ardent Sensor means there's that much more pressure on Hansama to play incredibly clean. If that Bard Binding lands, there's no Mikhails to save him. Tower getting chunked out here. 4 members of G2.
Dobro, fajn rotacije imaju kulu, Kejtuš nije tu, ali Bard ulti vifuje, nice. Ništa, uzet će kulu i to je to, mislim, nema šta.
So they are going to continue their split push. It's top side for LYON and mid lane for G2 as Broken Blade gets his way up to the tower as well. And I think that is just going to be LYON sacrificing this dragon for sure. Yeah. There's no way for Zane to get down there, so they want that side lane rise to become that priority. They can open this map up, get those outer towers down.
And I think that was a pretty big power spike for G2 to play off of with the Yunara and the Lulu overloading that bot side. So they get the turret, they get the Drake, and it's just LYON doing a pretty classic LYON play, cross-mapping to try and get Saint a little bit ahead so we can split push later in the game.
Saint 2-0-2, not the biggest gold lead against Caps, but definitely going to be a terror, especially against so many short-range champions on the top side of the map. See if Caps and the rest of G2 can keep him at arm's length.
Indijanac, u suštini da, poenta je jednom kad se pika heroj, taj heroj ne može se igrati do kraja serije. To je Riot uradio da ne bi morali da gledamo 10 partija i svaka partija da budu isti heroji. Jer u suštini uvek u meti imaš stvari koje su najjače i kad god je to otvoreno ti ćeš to pikati, tako da ovo forsira koučeve, između ostalog i timove da imaju veći champion pool i da se malo datiraju na metu. Da ne bude samo svako nauči po 3 pika i samo to igraju svaki game.
Brav losing that flash, pretty devastating. Again, the pillar from Inspired. Excellent pick tool, especially when you got that extra bit of movement speed from the Scuttle Crab, from the Trundle W. Running in to set that behind. Follow-up could be there too. Have not really seen that full 5v5 fight. Either side wanting to fully commit, but LYON getting first setup means G2 very unlikely to contest. Again, a lot of range with the Syndra Jace. When you have to move into that fog of war, you are incredibly vulnerable. Skumon the only one who can face check, and he's going to check with his face. And now sees nothing as LYON immediately back off.
And I do think LYON is not looking for fights at this particular stage of the game. I think you want 2.5 items on Dokla if you're really going to force
Od početka prošle godine.
Caitlyn to have an actual item advantage over the Yunara to show the gold league. He's just sitting on collector and components, whereas Hansama is essentially as strong, but then stronger because of the Ardent Sensor Lulu. So this is a state of the game where G2 can actually look to make some proactive plays because their items give them a lot of power.
Što je kažem, super stvar, mislim. Samo je LoL mnogo zanimljiviji sad za gledanje. Znaš, nekad čuvaš pik za sljedeću seriju, nekad namjerno uzmeš pik da bi denajevo protivnika. Mnogo je više strateški postalo ono sve zahvaljujući Fearless Draftu.
You are looking at the flashless Lulu as a possible pick target, so have to remain very safe in this vision coverage.
Yep, and flashes up across the board for LYON. On the opposing side, we take a look at the coin-based gold grind. Of course, Hansama pretty far Berserker. Keep in mind that's with the Cole gold as well, so Berserker really had his number in the laning phase. Hansama doing what he can to scrape together some gold to get to that second item.
And that gold turns into meaningful power with the Infinity Edge being completed here for him. So, side lanes being dealt with. Saints able to get the top side as well, so that's objective number 1 for LYON with this comp. You know, get those side lanes nice and open, and then they can return to the Rift Herald here. Again, really good vision setup. They're doing their due diligence here, getting all of the...
Dobro, da izbace Fearless LoL bi sam bio gori za gledanje, mislim, to je činjenica, nema šta. Jednostavno je mnogo zabavniji sa Fearlessom. Igrao sam nešto malo na NA for fun, ali... Iskreno 140 pinga nije... nije toliko fun.
Hansama can be when we get into the later points of the game. Has the Fiend Hunter Bolt a second item. Certainly not as powerful when you look at raw value as an IE, but when he ults, he is going to get that immediate burst, that ability to potentially shred through a target. Dokla, the other person we have to keep our eye on, because while he suffers in the 1v1, will eventually be a big problem for G2 Esports, especially as he can just build a lot of armor, and if Caps burns his cooldowns on the Olaf, it feels like a winning formula for LYON.
It is going to be interesting, because G2, they're very fragile, but they have so much damage.
Yep.
I think the term glass cannon is applicable. If you just kill the Olaf, then you don't have to CC him. So
this is true.
If the timings aren't correct on the engages, then you certainly could have a lot of damage. And especially like if Jace does get some poke damage ahead of time, there definitely are some opportunities there. But again, I'm going to be pretty worried about what can AORUS create with this Bard ahead of time. Maybe they burn some flashes or something, and then it's harder to operate.
I do really feel like LYON has to flank for these team fights. If it's Dokla just trying to run
through, da su kupili Inspireda, ništa od ovoga se ne bi dogodilo. LYON se ne bi ni kvalifikovao bez Inspireda, a G2 bi imao Inspireda da u stvari urade nešto.
Finding an angle most likely, and then once they distract them, that's when I feel like Dokla will try and run.
Saint is on the flank now. Mid lane tower potentially in trouble. Saint coming around the corner. G2 realize they have to back away. Good play from LYON, breaking open mid lane tier 1, opens up so much more of the map. As Skumond is so quick to jump in and stop anyone from riding on the Herald.
He smites it though, so if LYON tries to burst this dragon, they might just go for it. At the very least, G2 would have to approach through these Caitlyn traps. They're not going to rush it though. They'd love to try and find a fight if G2 moves in.
G2 playing for mid prio. They've already lost bot prio. They're trying to take control of mid before they start to phase check. Ultimate going to connect on LeBron. Inspired moving in a nice pillar to isolate Cap. Dokla, instantaneous flash over the wall. Ragnarok through the back line. They can't quite pass the DPS check, and he manages to make it out. Saint in pursuit, as is Inspired. G2 being pushed back. 4 members still standing. Support traded for jungler, but it favors LYON.
Incredibly close there.
Incredibly close.
With that starting with LeBron literally stepping on
G2 izgubio prvo dva.
Getting Bard ultimated into a trap combination. And so if you get hit with the Bard ultimate, it's guaranteed Caitlyn trap. Look, Berserker puts it down now, so there's going to be so much damage. Pillar to separate. Inspired's going to give him a bite, and they think, probably going to be able to finish that kill, but he survives, and then the counter on the other side.
I'm really shocked that LeBron was able to win, but it's because the counter engaged.
Da, to ti je druga stvar. U Koreji su imali pravilo ako odeš na 5. game da se igra blind pick. I onda svako može da pika šta hoće, onda se jako često dogodi u tim situacijama da...
LYON pushing in this top wave, poised to take down the tier 2 tower.
Da imaš iste pikove.
Kill onto Caps. LYON does have 5 people here, but they've used most of their crucial cooldowns. I wonder if they think about the Baron here.
They have Ragnarok, they have Tempered Fate. Caitlyn is strong. It still might feel like too tall of a task, but if Labrov gets caught, it certainly won't. Lockdown is there. Doka ready to go to the back line. He's got the Ragnarok ready to go, and he's starting to run back to the remaining members of G2. Skewmon down. Jungler out of the equation, but the low health bars likely mean LYON cannot start the Baron.
Another successful hit there for LYON. They pick another kill. The first one onto Caps. He had to flash because Skewmon in the fight had focused him, had Trundle pillared, and gotten the flash early. They get that pick. They turn to one more inside the jungle. Slowly but surely, they're adding little bits of extra gold to their coffers.
Yeah, LYON throwing lots of jabs here. You can see, knowing that he's flashless, they get Labrov. But Skewmon finds a good angle. It's just no one is there to follow up. Caps was dead, so they didn't have that last bit of damage to cut through either Isles or Dokla. Then they have to retreat afterwards. I'm still going to say it's a very tense game, because if LYON's getting these like single kill fights, but if the Yunara Lulu get going, they could run through a team fight on the back end.
Does get a bit scary. Isles playing with fire. More damage on the opposing team, the more risky that kind of play gets. But I think what's going to make it so frustrating, Jet, is that
Blind pick, mislim, pa dobro, da nije toga bilo, inače desi, ali da nije toga bilo, nikad ne bi bilo ni ono tipa Faker protiv Ryua, Zed protiv Zeda i ti trenuci. Realno je zabavno. Sad, da li je sa ono strateške strane, da li uvek najbolja ekipa pobedi? Ne. Jer možeš sam sebe da counter pikuješ i dogodi se. Ali kao koncept uzeti i ono, igrati blind pick u tako bitnom gemu je samo turbo fun.
Flash cooldowns from pillars. Did they land a Bard ultimate into a trap? And they're going to take those small wins all day long.
I want to see how G2 can solve their face checking issue.
Lara odlučila da truje.
So fragile with so
Onaka valja i to šta.
Vision is such a premium resource. We saw it last time around, you know, with Labrov trying to face check the bush and then getting Bard ultied and being a combo target. It's even hard for Skewmon. You know, when Skewmon is left alone there as the point man, getting burst down in a couple of these fights, they're going to need to sync up and like rotate the cooldowns on their scryers from their trinkets, you know, use everything at their disposal, and Syndra combos with long range.
Isles still living. Block it there, Caps. Nice rocket belt to get out from the Tempered Fate. LYON, very positive trade of cooldowns.
Yeah, man, Locket really eats up that Syndra ultimate right there. It felt like he just stopped taking damage when he...
Najveći ti je. Jer to znači da LYON dobija Hanvu onda, ili šta?
How do they really get through any of those tanks to Trundle or Olaf? The poke will kind of do nothing to them.
Yeah, vision is difficult to get, but they have long-range Jace poke, and Syndra stuns can set up big comebacks. Look at this. You've got the Olaf waiting in the wings there. Dokla constantly looking for these flank angles. He's going to back off.
Focus there. You can see G2 playing towards the top side of the river because that is where they have vision. That's where they can guarantee they won't get flanked from. Now trying to push in towards the bottom side river, but playing very cautiously, knowing that someone could be lurking in the darkness. Luckily, they spot Dokla. And now it's LYON who have to be a little bit careful on the approach. Caps, once again, tries to find the scout of the week, but an excellent 90 caliber net from Berserker stops any potential play.
Scary moment there. G2 had a good position, but they've used their cooldowns, and now LYON has retaken the river a bit.
They spot him.
He's been seen.
They saw him.
They know they have to mark the flanker, but can they kill him? Dokla waiting for Broken Blade, now ulting, looking for the Ragnarok. Broken Blade running for his life. Is he going to be fast enough? Skewmon also backing away, down a level. Dokla creating so much space.
Ne znam. Ja mislim da činjenica da je G2 došao do top 4 na MSI znači da samo neće menjati ništa. Iako realno gledano trebali bi, jer to su radili i ranije kad čak i do polufinala dođu pa promene igrače.
Looks like G2 are going to seed the dragon and wait.
They have to give it. You can see the poke that Berserker can get down. They basically, Broken Blade was completely chunked out and burned his...
Ali Spad je baš gepovo skio celu seriju isto. Baš ga je gepovo.
Such a good position for LYON to be in. Only need Inspired to focus the Drake. The rest of them can fight for space around the Baron, and now it's Labrov who's instantaneously forced to flash, but now he's got nothing for the Tempered Fate. G2 going to do what they can to try to peel him away, but Berserker is so damn strong!
Bard ult into Caitlyn, trap into headshot, and that's another pick. That's another kill. G2, they constantly have to respect Bard ultis and Realm Warps, and now the Baron.
Jace is going to TP in. I feel like they're going to have to try and stop this.
Isles doing what he can to body block.
A mislim, ja sam napomenuo Skew i Labrove, sad Skew on stvarno ima neke partije da igra jako dobro. Ne mogu biti toliki hater. Ali ima baš i partije da je jednostavno samo outclassovan hard. A Caitlyn je prejaka sad.
A step forward, chunking out Caps. Caps is about to die. Berserker solo killing Caps. A little support from Isles. LYON determined to take the objective. Dokla ready to fight.
Ne daju mu, brate, mnogo lepo igraju, pametno igraju, nema šta. To čujete po nivou hajpovanja kastera. Jako su strpljivi bili, to mi se jako svidelo, ali... Nema, mislim to samo GG's.
The trust that they have in each other to play that sequence out, and they land another Bartle.
Their fate tempered, but all they can hope for is another 2.5 seconds in this one. LeBron falls, LYON dominating.
Caps is going to respawn, so I don't think this is going to be the push for the Nexus just yet, but LYON have taken a huge lead right here.
Isles, my man. Pick after pick after pick after pick on this Bard.
LeBron cannot avoid the tempered fates from Isles. He's landing every single one, but the key point in this fight is Berserker on the side here into Caps. The Caitlyn marks over, gets the headshot, lands the ultimate, and they just hold this Baron at 3,000 the entire time.
Yeah, they just let Berserker get to work while they're staring him down. They didn't care about the Baron damaging them inside the pit. And then, once they know they have the advantage, once Caps is down, they go for the play, and even Dokla survives on the bottom side.
Ne, danas od 10-1, sutra od 10-1, prekosutra od 10-1 i to je kraj MSI-a. I onda imamo 2 dana pauze pa kreće EVC. EVC će biti od srede do nedelje. Znači, šta je to? 5 dana. 5 dana, da. Dobro sam rekao.
LYON marching down the top lane, scatter the weak going wide. Flashbacks to last year at MSI, flashback to the match versus NRG, a best of 3. Is LYON determined to break G2? Good rocket belt out from Caps. Hansama, Q stacked. Mikhail's now going to be used. Dokla threatening from the side. LYON looking to give no room to maneuver to the side of G2 Esports, who are desperate to hold on to what they can in their base. G2, another scatter. This one connecting, but the follow-up simply isn't there. Using the Syndra range to try to zone them away, just hoping to clear these waves. 30 seconds left on the Baron. Dokla running in for Broken Blade. Making it look personal.
Ult, Blue, ne mora ni do overgrida. Isto je, mislim, bacio je ulti i go za to, ali... Nope, ne radi, ne. Senti level 17 takođe.
Down he goes, Broken Blade final back, healing up off the fountain, but Inspired is unkillable. Saint may have gone too far. Caps looking to fall, the timing has to be perfect, but no, the Mikhails is there. LYON moving into the face of G2, not giving them any chance to force a fight on their terms. Double towers down, Nexus exposed, and G2 in shambles.
The shock blast gives them hope at the chase. Will they try to extend the play? Broken Blade does have teleport, Caps has teleport, but they've got nowhere to use them. No flank wards. LYON are going to make their exit.
No need to rush now. They're up 17 kills to 3.
10k gold, da.
2 Nexus turrets. Saint gets dangerously low, but Berserker continues to be exceptional in this game. Headshot after headshot. I think it would have been pretty risky for them to finish the Nexus there with how low Saint was, so they're not trying to give G2 away back in this game with the Infernal Soul coming up in 15 seconds.
Exceptional bottom lane, you know, as does Isles. Your boy deserves that 2,000 gold lead that he has.
Isles fell under so much criticism, spending a couple years on Dignitas, losing a bunch of games. When this roster got put together, people said, well, it's nice that they have Inspired and Berserker, but Isles, and he's done nothing but improve. Lock-in champion, spring split champion, and potentially
Infernal Soul ma dao
MSI lower bracket finalist.
Yeah.
Ovo je samo gigadunt.
LCS improved so much. Stumbled at the beginning of this tournament, but gets right back up there when it matters. And now LYON here trying to close the game. They have the Infernal Soul, the extra damage, and we cursed him!
Caster curse, down he goes! Well done, gentlemen. Tell me more, tell me more. Inspired. Incredible year, incredible player. He's so good. Okay, it's not going to work
He runs our region.
He does. He 3-0'd Skewbond last MSI. I don't know. That was not great. That's going to delay this game for sure. And we know G2, you got to remember, they never give up. They have 2 reverse sweeps, one in the LEC playoffs, one so far here at MSI. They would need to pull a rabbit out of a hat, though, here, Dracos.
That they would, and they would also need to keep their mid laner alive. His Caps now being ulted. The ace, oh my god, Berserker, legendary. I think that more than makes up for a little fumble from Isles. Mid laner down, so much of the range threat, the range engage now removed as LYON set up in the bot lane. May look to be just taking the tower. Not gonna risk it, though, again. So calm, so controlled. Do not want to risk anything against G2.
All right, here comes G2 though. Broken Blade on the
Broken Blade going in. Hansama chunked out. Has to stay out of range of Berserker. Needs to continue to backstep. Ulti there, but it's Saint into the back line. Spinning, shut down. A disaster from Saint. LYON now might need to complete the play, force a greater advantage. Temper Fate does not connect. Hansama retreating. LYON, do they want to go for the end here?
I don't think so. It looked like I could see Inspired saying either calm down, fall back, because that was a very hyphy play by Saint there. He saw the victory, Rise ults in, doesn't get to press his Zonias. He had an amazing Zonias in the Victor game last game. Doesn't, I think it was just a CC chain, couldn't get it off.
We have had many Rise Realm Warps at this tournament that have been delivering people to their deaths.
If Hansama steps up here, he gets one shot. I don't know if he's still lurking. Observers, dang you are so tricky. But there is a murder machine waiting in that brush.
It's a risky play. G2's
he's probably recalled.
Something here.
He's recalled. Observers, please.
No, he's in there, buddy. They're both in there.
He's walking mid.
Baron dies
G2
fast.
trying to force.
Ovo je što je način jako dobar Baron G2.
Objective bounty claimed. And I think EU, we take those. We'll get what we can at this point.
You certainly do, Dracos.
Ovo je pravi NA versus EU game, iskreno. Ovo je pravi NA versus EU game.
Another comeback at MSI. It's still very far away.
We talked about the TES Scuttle Crab in mid lane. It could be the Saint Realm Warp into the base. Those are the types of moments that can turn series around. LYON still has Soul. They still have the gold lead. They still have a problem in the bot lane with Berserker, but the hope is there.
Giving them something. At the very least, time in this game, 2 minutes where they can certainly hold their waves. Stall for this inhibitor to respawn. Won't be up as the Baron fades, but gets them closer to potentially contesting the Elder that's spawning in 3 minutes. The difficulty, of course, LYON still very far ahead. You highlighted it so well. Berserker approaching that 6th item. Boots are already there. Can sell his door in soon. He's only getting scarier.
Berserker is very strong, but Hansama has 4 full items and a Lulu in his back pocket, so Hansama very strong as well.
Have to be careful. They're wandering around the traps. They will spot him out. Inspired, keep your eyes on that pillar. That'll be the go sign. Skewmon enough armor not to just get completely deleted. Death's Dance, though, you can see stalls it a bit, but still so much damage from Berserker.
LYON absolutely has to respect the team fighting here from the Unar if they stay as the unit. Dokla constantly looking for that angle.
And you see Caps constantly backstacking, anticipating that Dokla can come from the flank. They know they can't step too far forward either because they don't have a tower there to defend them.
Okay, I mean, Jace's poke is cool, but have you seen Berserker with a rapid fire proc? Holy, he walks up and he is doing like 400-500 damage. Let's see it. When he gets one of those with a headshot and walks up on
I ovo je sa RFC-om.
It is devastating and G2 again.
Ja obično ne buildam RFC da bi radio malo više damage-a po basicu, ali
No, you cannot.
sad je 40 minuta, polako, stvari su sve manje bitne. Kao da li si bio ahead, da li nisi, nebitno je.
And even just onto Skewmon there, who is most likely to be the person at the front of the fight. We'll see how.
Power still alive. Caps now has his death cap. 4 items does not stop for any defensive itemization outside of the mobility the rocket belt provides. Temper Fate once again connecting onto Labrov. No follow-up there. Caps poking over the wall, chunking out Isles. Stops the engage from LYON critically.
Big damage.
LYON really careful not to overcommit like they did in the base earlier, so I mean, the game is telling us objective bounties are still up, so the LYON is quite ahead, but you can see G2 is playing extremely well around this mid-wave to keep the pressure up.
One more explosive fight could just end it in LYON's favor. G2 are going to need multiple things to go their way. 40 seconds on Elder, playing towards the top side of that river. They'll spot out Doga with a blue trinket. Berserker still standing. Flash in from Skewmon. Inspired still living. In the back line, it's Doka rampaging through and getting right back out. G2 falling apart in the fight. Hot Summon, not enough. That auto from Berserker. It's disgusting. Realm more forward to ensure Broken Blade has no room.
I on je mrtav, ma da, Infernal Soul 3, Infernal Drake-a. I vrati mili, dobijemo T1, izbaci na Senei.
Top lane toppled. G2 have collapsed, and Europe has been gapped by North America. LYON taking their time, making it look damn good as they sweep G2 out of this tournament.
Inspired dancing and waving.
Feels fucking bad, ljudi. Feels fucking bad.
A lot of beef, I think, for Inspired against G2 has talked openly about how he'd want to play against Caps, but sends him home from MSI.
On je rekao da želi da igra i sa Capsom, što je dosta bitna stvar.
And it's just a reminder that no matter how good or how bad the previous series either of these teams played, one team can just show up on the day and make all the difference. I think every single role, it felt like there was a tangible gap between these two teams, which after that T1 series, people may not have anticipated, but the NA faithful well and truly rewarded an incredible performance from LYON.
This team is playing with so much confidence, and Inspired has full swagger right now. He is trying to turn himself into the biggest possible villain, but he is just continuing to win.
He's hushing the crowd. He's planning the games, the well-laid plans here, and the well-executed plans from LYON on top of it.
G2, a sad goodbye. We'll hold on to the series against T1.
Da, laki ljudi moji, šta reći, ekipa G2-a je završila svoje takmičenje na MSI-u. Sutra imamo i matchup koji ćemo gledati, a to će biti... Da, Han2 i LYON, tako da...
They played so well today. It was really fun to watch. I mean, hats off to G2. They are a great opponent.
Ostavit ćemo malo i kastere da budu ponosni. Kolamo ga večeras Palvold playthrough. Sutra gledamo Hanvu i LYON, a prekosutra gledamo Hanvu i BLG. Najvjerovatnije, osim ako LYON napravi neki upset, bilo kako bilo. Ja se nas uživali, a mi se vidimo.